It's that time again. Stop driving, stop walking, you just need to sit down. I mean, this podcast, it is not safe to operate heavy machinery while you listen to the Rage Select podcast. I don't want you laughing so hard or disagreeing so hard or like saying, oh my God, you're so wrong so hard that then it's like you accidentally do that thing where it's not really a thing. You do that thing where the big backhoe like hits the building and then it just knocks the side of the building out. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. I just made it up.
Okay. I think
so,
you're talking about
pay attention. Like don't be distracted by the world famous Rage Select podcast right here on Rage Select. And I am Jeff.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a jam bam slam thank you ma'am packed show today. There's a lot that went down this week. We got thrills, we got chills, we got
bills,
sex, we've got lies, we got videotapes, we got all the things. My God, is that a bad reference? But before we get to that, I think we should start by saying you were at RTX last week, right?
Yes, I did all 4 days of RTX.
Holy shit, that sounds exhausting.
It was. I took a 5-hour energy on Monday and it almost murdered me.
Okay.
Well, it's because I was so tired. Like, I had to take it or else I was going to pass out at work.
One time I was on a road trip with a guy who drank a 5-hour energy, and he was like, oh, man, I'm so shaky from this 5-hour energy. I need something to calm my nerves. So he stopped at, like, a rest stop, and he got a cup of coffee and was drinking it. And it was like that, like I was very close to just knocking it out of his hand and being like, how are you trying to calm down from 5-hour energy by putting fucking coffee? That doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not. It's like that episode of Futurama where Fry just goes everything in slow motion.
Oh yeah, he drinks all the cups of coffee. Well, so look, give us the standouts. What were the big gets? I've kind of become, I mean, no shade to Rooster Teeth, it's just I don't really watch Rooster Teeth, so like.
Well, by big gets, what do you mean per se?
Well, like what were your highlights? Give me your top 3 in relatively quick order.
Well, I got to interview the How It Should Have Ended people.
Okay.
From the YouTube channel How It Should Have Ended.
Okay.
As well as some people from the Women's of Let's Play. One of them was Alana Pierce, who came from IGN.
The Women's of Let's Play?
It's just a bunch of the women who do Let's Plays on Rooster Teeth.
Okay.
So I got to meet a few of them. So I got to do that interview. I got to meet Nolan North and Troy Baker.
That
was
saw.
Fucking cool as shit.
Yeah. Did you make them record like a voicemail message
no,
for you?
I cut them on the way out, and I was just like, I was tempted to just be like, do a voice. Do it. Be Deadpool, damn you.
That's the one that you would have picked?
Well, because Nolan North does a really good Deadpool.
Yeah.
Because it's his most non-Nolan North voice he has.
I think if I had met those two, I would want to see the Penguin from Arkham and then Troy Baker's Joker talk some shit to each other. I want to hear some Batman villains.
That would be pretty cool.
Hear some Batman villains.
I also beat the shit out of Glenn Glassall in Mortal Kombat, so that was fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's always fun.
Also tried out Rooster Teeth's new game.
Okay.
Because they made a game recently called Vicious Circle.
Yeah, I mean, if I had infinity money and all the time in the world, I'd make video games too.
I might be able to get a beta for that, actually.
Lucky motherfuckers. Okay, let me ask this. One of the reasons that I kind of stopped going to Rooster Teeth was because there was never anything like really. It's not E3, right? Nobody's like showing off a game that's not coming out yet, or if they are, it's always like one company and the line is out the door, and it's like, here's the multiplayer for the new Assassin's Creed game, and it's like, oh, Yonzo, I don't give a shit. And they're like, I mean, the only cool thing is that in years past, RTX is where I first rubbed up against Devolver Digital.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember playing Shadow Warrior at RTX and just being like, oh, holy shit, this is a good game. Like, I was sure this was just going to be some cash grab bullshit, but then I played it and I was like, oh, fuck, no, this is great. So
I know Behemoth is there a lot of the times, too, the guys who made Castle Crashers.
Yeah. I wonder are they still doing the Pit People? Was that the last one that they did?
I don't remember, actually. I know they're coming out with the remastered Castle Crashers, if that isn't already out.
Oh, okay. So, but it was a good time. You got to cut the line. You got to
it was
flash your press badge.
Yeah, it was a little tricky this year because still a lot of the Guardians didn't know what to do with it. Like I ran into Richard Whitaker of the Chronicle, and even he was like, "This shit's weird." Like half the people don't know what to do with this thing. The other half are just like, just come on in. It's just very strange.
I don't know that I've ever been to an event at the Austin Convention Center that isn't kind of a shit show. Like, oh, well, those doors are locked. You need to walk around the entire building. And it's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was not fun.
Like, wait, you can't go up that escalator. And I'm like, the fuck I can't. You just try to stop me.
And and we couldn't take liquids in. So if you bought like a $4 Coke inside and then left and came back, you had to throw it away.
That's
fucking ridiculous.
That's some dumb shit right there.
It sucked. But that part of it sucked. I actually spent a lot of money on just soda that entire weekend to stay awake. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of the panels are just fun. Like if you're fans of the things they do, like it can be fun, a lot of fun. You know,
yeah.
Let's Play people, the Funhouse. I didn't go to any of Greg Miller's things. I wanted to, but they got full very fast.
You gonna slap him for me?
No,
slap him right in his fucking face.
I didn't even see him actually. Like he apparently was around, but I never once saw him at all.
You know what? You know what was exciting to me was that I heard that Philip DeFranco was at RTX, and I'm like, I would have liked to have just been like, hey, look, it's Philip DeFranco. Hey, I like your show. All right, bye. But that was not enough for me to drive into downtown Austin just to, I don't know.
That's kind of what I did to people. I would see them and be like, I like the thing you do, and then just like take a picture and then leave.
Yeah.
Like I met Wooly of the Super Best Friends, or past Super Best Friends. He's now just Castle Super Beast. And a friend of mine asked me to ask him for an autograph, so I have an autograph of his that is purely just says Wolves on it, and it's not for me, but it's weird.
You're just holding on to somebody else's autograph.
Basically.
I don't know. I mean, at least, hey, you know, you're a young man with your whole life ahead of you. You should leave the house and do stuff. I'm an old man with you know what I did on Saturday when you were at Rooster Teeth was I spent 6 hours making a homemade crunch wrap, and it was disgusting.
That sounds awful.
Because I made I fucked up every part of the process. Like I made my own refried beans, but I couldn't settle on a recipe, and so one of the recipes was like, oh, chop up an onion and like saute it in the bacon grease before you put the beans in and give it a little bit more flavor. But then I had a yellow onion instead of a white onion.
Oh, God.
And so the yellow onion turns sweet when you cook it. So my refried beans were sweet, which was disgusting. And I had ground beef, and I made my own taco seasoning, but I put too much chipotle chili powder in it, so it was too spicy, so my ground beef was disgusting. I made a cheese sauce. I tried to heat it up too fast and broke my cheese sauce, so the cheese was all gritty, so that was disgusting. And the only guacamole, or the only avocados I could find were either underripe or rotten on the inside. So I took the underripe ones and really just mashed the shit out of them and tried the best I could to doctor them into an edible sauce, and that was disgusting. And then I made the crunch wraps, and it's actually relatively easy to make a crunch wrap.
Holy shit.
But it was like 6 hours of work all day. I was exhausted when I got done, and what I ended up with were 2 medium grade crunch wraps that were kind of gross. And I was like, I spent $30 an entire day making these. I could have spent 10 minutes and $3 and gone to Taco Bell and gotten a crunch wrap,
which is crazy to me.
But
other thing, I finally met Brian Brushwood. The audience.
Yeah.
I had never met him prior to
You
this
want to meet
point.
Brian Brushwood? I will meet you, Brian Brushwood.
I literally had never met him prior to that point. Like, I know so many people who know him. You, Roberto, Jason, all that.
Yeah.
Never once met him until that Sunday.
Yep.
Nice guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what, let's jump in. You know what? We were going to talk about that Mulan trailer so I could put it in the thumbnail. So maybe I just said that. So maybe I'll put it in the thumbnail. I'm fucking sick of live action Disney movies. I don't give a shit about them. Like, I thought Jungle Book was okay. I thought Maleficent was okay. And I didn't watch any of the rest of them. I was like, Beauty and the Beast, fucking Aladdin. Where it's like, oh, Aladdin. And I'm like,
At least with the Maleficent, they tried to do something different.
Yeah. Well, they tried to do something different with Beauty and the Beast too, and then it was just
I never saw it.
I'll tell you what, if you want to know, Lindsay Ellis has a whole video called "Thanks, I Hate It." That's all about that's great. I don't know, this Mulan teaser. I mean, it's like part of me just goes into like I feel like 6 years ago when I started Rage Select, I'd complain about this for 45 minutes, but I'm like, I mean, it just looks like Mulan. Do you guys really need it live? Is there really a difference between watching cartoon Mulan do stuff and watching live action Mulan do stuff? It's not like this version's going to be rated R and have like a lot of blood and violence in it, right?
Is it though? I'm just kidding.
I don't think so.
Go for it, Disney. Just fucking go for it.
What Disney movie do you want to see a rated R version of?
Mulan.
Specifically Mulan?
Either Mulan or Hercules.
Okay.
Like, I would love to just see, like, blood fucking everywhere.
Oh, there's a lot of implied blood fucking in Hercules. Like,
exactly.
You don't actually see it on the screen, but it's there in the background.
There are many orgies in Hercules they don't bother showing you.
Yes.
Because that was just the time, one in Greece and such.
Vomitoriums? We didn't get a single vomitorium in the entirety of Hercules.
No naked wrestling in the Olympics. Nothing.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of done with this. I mean, but you know what? This has a long honorable history that goes back to. Like Matt Frank and I were talking for a while about the Attack on Titan live action movie, and I'm just like,
about that thing.
No interest whatsoever. Or like, hey, weren't there like 3 Death Note live action movies from Japan? Not the Netflix one, but like actual Death Note movies from Japan. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. There's even a Mob Psycho 100 live action movie
not that long ago.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't get like if I want to watch Mob Psycho 100, I'll watch the anime. Like it doesn't mean anything to me that you made it live action.
There's also a Gantz one, I think.
Gantz, get out of here with that. Take that out of here. Like, there've been plenty of live action renditions of stuff, but at a certain point, it's like, well, you either deviated and made it into something that I don't like because it's not the thing that I thought it was, or you just made the anime, but you put people in it. And well, I've already seen that story, so like.
I know Death Note, the first one follows the anime, and the second one just goes batshit insane.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you think that Mulan do you think she's not going to defeat Genghis guy? Is that Genghis Khan in the thing?
Well, no, it's like some other guy that's kind of like Genghis Khan, but not really Genghis Khan.
Just
if I remember
Mongol
correctly.
man.
Yeah, just giant, crazy Mongol dude.
I guess the question is, do you think that they're all going to dress up like women, that all of her friends are going to dress in drag at the end to get into... Why did they do that again? They had to get near the emperor to stop him from being assassinated?
Yeah.
The only way to do it was to put on a dress?
Well, because they got them past the guards or something.
Because the guards were like, oh, it's just women. Let them through. Let them through.
Because it's Mulan and the others, so they use that to their advantage or some shit.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I just want to watch the one song.
Also, Eddie Murphy's in it. So
yeah. All right, let's jump into some actual video game news. The big news this week was
the Mulan DS. I'm just kidding.
The Mulan themed DS. Actually, I saw a bunch of people online that were like, "How the fuck are you going to put out a trailer for Mulan and not announce a tie-in sauce at McDonald's?" No, it is the Nintendo Switch Lite. Last week, this got spoiled because there was like a foreign Chinese retailer that had a different shell casing for it that they listed on their website. So anyway, there's a new Switch. It's coming out later this year. This is the Nintendo Switch Lite. It is a Switch that does not dock. It does not output to the television. You cannot remove the Joy-Cons from it. It does not have a kickstand on the back. Instead of buttons, it has an actual honest-to-God D-pad on the left side. It's a little smaller. 33% lighter, and apparently it'll get about an hour more battery time. Like they said that, Breath of the Wild, you're supposed to be able to play 3 hours on a charged Switch, and you can get about 4 hours now off of it. It comes in 3 distractingly weird colors: yellow, mustard yellow, turquoise, and gray, dark gray, like black kind of.
Strange color schemes. All I know is the Switch has finally used its final form, the Vita form.
It's basically, it's just a big old Vita. It's about the screen is a little bit smaller, and other than that, so there is one thing, which is since you can't take the Joy-Cons out of it, you can play games like if you want to play 1-2 Switch on your Switch Lite, you have to have Joy-Cons, separate set of Joy-Cons, and it doesn't have a kickstand, so you'd have to prop it up somewhere.
It would be a pain in the ass, is what we're saying.
Yeah, basically they said that there's going to be some games, they recommend it for games that are playable in handheld mode, and that for games that you want to have connected to the TV, the snipper clips, right? You wouldn't want to play snipper clips on here.
Clips there,
I don't know. What are your feelings about this, Michael? It's going to be $100 less. It's going to be $200 instead of $300. As both you and I already own Switches, I don't know that this is exactly. There's an appeal here.
This is purely for people who don't have a Switch, and B, want to buy Pokemon and also have a portable system. Because as far as I hear, the actual size of these is kind of like if you took one of the Joy-Cons off of a Switch and then put your hand on both ends. Apparently, that's like the estimated size of it.
Okay, I get what you're saying now. Okay, yeah.
So it's a lot smaller, and like it's just like it's a 3DS basically kind of thing.
Well, it's
They're
weird
trying to get the actual full-on handheld market again.
Right. It's weird because I know there's got to be a lot of people out there that have a Switch that don't ever dock it. Like I've actually heard a lot of people on various podcasts that I listen to that have like video game people on it that are just like, I never use my Switch docked. Like I play it in bed. Like I play it in bed. I'll play it out on the road but that I don't ever put it. And I never undock that motherfucker. Like
I've never undocked it.
I've got a Pro controller. That thing is a console that's hooked up to a television. So this doesn't really appeal to me very much.
Like I have a lot of coworkers that take it to work a lot.
Yeah.
Like I took it to work one time and I was like, I don't really kind of feel like doing this. So yeah, I just have it docked most of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I do, whenever I have played it undocked, I do kind of don't like the, like if I'm a little bit rough with it, sometimes one of the Joy-Cons will come loose and I'm just like, motherfucker.
I guess one of the nice things about this one is that it doesn't remove them.
It also takes
so you can get really rough with it.
It also took out the HD rumble and the IR port, so you can't use it for any of that. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting. I mean, it's just kind of it's like a 2DS, right? It's like the Switch version of a 2DS, where they just took some of the stuff out and made a version for. It's like, well, if you just want a version that you can lay in bed with, if you basically just want a 3DS, right? So I don't know.
I like the idea.
It's a good idea.
I don't think much for like kids. I think more than anything.
Yeah, I don't think I'm interested in playing it at all. I know a lot of people have been. I think Amanda is personally affronted by the color choice that they made.
Oh, really?
For the yellow and the turquoise and the gray. I do have to say that I kind of like the basic default black, red, and blue colors on the regular Switch, but I don't know. I mean, like the other thing is that the Switch is a hell of a system, and I can feel like a lot of people who just want to play, who don't have a problem with playing handhelds, who just want a portable system. Great, yeah. Also, $200 is not.
It's not terrible.
It's not a huge entry.
And there's a Pokemon edition of it.
Yep,
already announced.
Sword and Shield version that's going to be like white.
It's got like the Pokemon mascots on the back.
Yeah, it's got the Pokemon mascot stencil on the back, and then it's got like one side the buttons are blue, and the other side the buttons are like pink, I guess.
Like I'm sure it'll do fine. Like it's a nice idea.
It's very much the kind of thing that Nintendo. It's very much the kind of thing that Nintendo would do, right? Like it's almost exactly what I would expect out of Nintendo, of a kind of a conservative hardware refresh with a slightly, like, Nintendo is willing to do shit like this where they totally re-engineer the Switch just to make it into a 3DS because
I mean, they did it with every other thing they've ever made so far.
Yeah,
newer version, the Game Boy Pocket. This is
less bizarre than when they made a 3DS that wasn't 3D.
Yeah, when they were like the 2DS that kind of looks like a door stopper. It's like, okay, cool, I guess.
All right, great. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it'll probably sell well. I mean, so far the Switch has been a banging system. It's just very much differentiated itself from the other guys. Man, this I have way too many windows open. It takes like 45 seconds to close a thing. Apparently, though, this is just the beginning. We've got a whole bunch of different Nintendo news here. So apparently part of the engineering process of what they're doing on the inside of Nintendo filed for a trademark patent, or for an alteration on the Switch trademark patent, to basically alter some of the internal circuitry in the actual Switch to basically swap out, I'm sure, with some of the components that make the Switch Lite smaller to make the original Switch have a little bit more power and a little bit better battery time, and et cetera, et cetera. Not enough for them to actually rebrand it or to say this is like, it's the Switch XL or whatever, but
the new Switch.
Yeah, but apparently that will then be integrated into newly shipping default Switches.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, if you're looking to get a Switch, this holiday season is probably not a bad time to think about doing that.
I really think they should have called the new 3DS NU 3DS and came out with a new Gundam edition. And the tagline would have just been not just for show. I really think they dropped the ball on that. Is all I'm saying.
I don't have any idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, it's you remember Char's counterattack?
Sure, sort of.
That's the name of the Gundam in that, and Amaro says it's not just for show. It's a whole thing.
That's a deep cut. I don't know that Nintendo is going to be able to move that many.
They should have done it. Is all I'm saying.
Is there even a Gundam game for the 3DS? Was there even a single Gundam game that came out on the 3DS?
No, but they could have. I don't know.
But they could have made one.
They could have made
a Switch that was a 3DS that was branded for it.
I really wish they should have. They really wish they did something like that.
Well, I really wish that they would put out something besides shitty ass NES games on the Nintendo Online service. This
what did
month,
they come out with this time?
We're getting Donkey Kong 3 and Wrecking Crew. Not even 3 games, 2 games, 2 kind of bad games.
Which one was Donkey Kong 3 again?
That's the one where you gotta shoot Donkey Kong's butt with the insect sprayer until he goes up high enough, and then he goes off the top of the screen. Here, this is what it looks like.
Wait, what is the plot of Donkey Kong 3 then?
I have no idea. I don't care. I don't like original Donkey Kong. I don't
just shoot him in the ass over and over again?
Yeah, sort of. Like he keeps coming down this little thing, this little bee perch, and you got to keep shooting him until he goes away.
Shoot him in the junk.
Shoot him in the junk with insecticide. Okay.
Can't have more Donkey Kong Juniors that way.
I just spent the entire last week complaining about their online service and how it's not worth the money, or how at least the games they're giving us are more just like, oh, also here's some garbage to go along with the fact that you can play online and cloud saves, right?
Yeah.
But they are making an attempt. Apparently, the new pretty soon they're implementing a feature where you can just rewind on the NES games.
Oh, okay.
When you're playing them, which is fine, but I mean, like, okay, that's cool and everything. How about some Super Nintendo games? You know, I played that Soul Seraph game that came out from Sega last week that was like the spiritual successor to ActRaiser. And then I was like, I want to play ActRaiser. And I was like, what do you mean the SNES Classic doesn't have ActRaiser on it? Like, what? Where is ActRaiser? God damn it. I want to play ActRaiser. Like, the fact that we live in 2019 and I can't just easily start a game of ActRaiser, that's some bullshit right there.
It is a little annoying. There's a lot of games that we can't just start up, like, because we feel like it.
Yeah.
There's so many Super Nintendo games I'd love to be just like, I just feel like playing this. Let me start it real quick.
Yeah. I would give them money for it, even.
So much money.
And let's see. I think... yeah, and that is our Nintendo news for this week. I don't know. As I said, I think that without belaboring the point, I mean, this is just such a Nintendo thing to do. It does seem weird to me, though, that there isn't some kind of docking capability. Like, I understand if you didn't have the Switch dock, but like,
you're talking about for the Lite,
right? Yeah, if there's like an adapter that I could buy to plug into a port on it, just to output it to the TV. Like, it didn't have to be fancy, but I don't know. Maybe that's how they got the size reduction, was taking all of that functionality out of the system. But
it makes sense. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just probably isn't in there that make it last longer and everything.
Maybe. I don't know.
Just pulled back as much as they could.
I guess it's weird because I've gone through that whole thing where you buy a Nintendo thing and then like a year later there's a refresh and you're just like, God damn it, I want that one instead.
At least this time around, I don't actually have that thought.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah. I don't actually watch that one or want that one. All right, it's time for our weekly installment of bad things that happen in the video game industry.
Hooray!
This week we had a story that came out. This isn't really very much news as much as it is just like, well, yeah. That was basically some kids in, I believe it was in the UK, who bought FIFA on the Switch, and they wanted to buy one of the card packs for FIFA. And so their dad came in the room and did it, and they watched what he did, and then when he left, they literally emptied their parents' bank account buying FIFA card packs.
Oh my God.
It was like, what was it? Like 550 euros worth of FIFA card packs, and they were trying to get the one footballer that they really liked, right?
Yeah.
And they never got him. Like
they didn't even get him?
They didn't even get him. Yeah. So yeah. that's some shit right there. That's maybe a reason why you shouldn't. I'm trying to think if there's a lesson to be learned here outside of just like the thing is that they interviewed the dad here, and he at least does say, "I fucked up by not locking this down. Like this was my fault." The kids both feel terrible. They had no idea what they were doing. They were just hitting the button and they were getting card packs. They didn't know they were spending money. They were just like, let's go. Because they were pretty, I mean, they were youngish, but I go back to my previous thing of where it's like, I do think that this is kind of a parental thing. On the other hand, I don't know, man. Like the FIFA one is just, it's just so shitty. Like, it's
this is the exact
shitty
like issue that happens with these things is that the kids didn't even realize what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they spent like $5,000.
Yeah.
And didn't even get what they needed.
Nope.
Or wanted, not needed, but what they wanted.
Yep. That's why I'm like, the more I see of card packs and RNG loot box stuff, it's like, can we go back to the days where you just had to if you wanted that guy in FIFA, you just had to go to the store and spend $4 on that guy from FIFA.
$4 or $5.
I mean, I understand why they don't do that, because then your kid's going to accidentally rack up $550 worth of fucking microtransactions.
Yeah.
But see, the problem with this, Michael, is that EA needs to stop this from accidentally happening, because when this happens, then you get assholes like that jerk off here in the U.S. who's trying to pass the anti-loot box stuff, who's just like, well, we have to do it because of the children. The children are being exploited. And it's like, no, I mean, kind of, but not really. Like, the parents are stupid and...
Well, yes, but actually no.
Like, if I was a dumb person who had thousands of dollars that I wanted to spend on FIFA card packs, I guess I should be allowed to do that, but...
They're called whales.
I don't know. Again, I guess I go back to pining for the days of just like season pass. Like,
I kind of miss the days of just horse armor for $2.
Right.
Was the thing that sucked.
Yep. Or like, oh, you could buy all these weapons in Dead Space 3 to make the game easier. And it's like, well, I don't want to. And it's like, okay, bye. And that was the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, not much to say here. I think that I think every single host of Rage Select and I have gone over this. Every co-host of Rage Select and myself have gone over. I don't think there's anybody here that's pro loot box. I don't know if we need to get a pro loot box person on the show who's just like, well, I think you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want to, and you should be able to break your game and then make people pay. And you buy a $60 game and you keep paying and paying and paying and paying and paying, and you can spend $500 on a $60 game. And
I say let them go.
Yep. I say if you're too stupid not to buy a loot box, then you deserve to have no money and not get the thing you wanted out of the loot boxes. And I'll be like, okay, get out of here. I've made a mistake. You need to leave now. Thank you very much. Goodbye. I'm sorry. This website has like these like side articles.
Yeah.
And the one at the very bottom, this is on BBC's website, and it's just a picture of this black man in like a priest robe, and it just says, "Am I too gay for God?" It just distracted me. I was like, I don't know, sir. Are you?
That's the actual headline of this, by the way.
Yep. But that's right under, would you drink camel milk? And is Putin right about wind turbines and birds?
The fuck is happening on this website?
BBC, I don't know what you guys think news is, but I wish
you people could see this.
I'm kind of on your side. From there, we're going over to G2A. So last week, we had a story about G2A. G2A was putting ads up, was buying Google AdSense space, where like if you did a search for a game, their ad to buy the game on G2A would come up above the actual page, and then when you tried to get rid of it, it wouldn't let you like suppress that ad or whatever. At which point a bunch of developers came out and they were like, hey, listen, if you're going to buy games off of G2A, just pirate them from us. Like it's more of a pain in the ass for us to deal with their horse shit than it is if you just steal our game, because when you buy it from G2A and then the chargeback bullshit of stolen credit cards happens, it's like we have to pay the chargeback fees and stuff like that. Anyway, so G2A has been getting dragged a little bit. So last week, somebody who works for G2A had a really a really great idea that I'm sure was not going to be a single problem, and nobody's going to have a problem with that.
Oh, God.
So a bunch of people started posting online these emails they were getting from somebody at G2A that says, "We have written an unbiased article about how selling stolen keys on gaming marketplaces is pretty much impossible, and we want to publish it. Your website without being marked as we want to publish it on your website without being marked or sponsored or marked as associated with G2A. It is transparent and just review of the problem of stolen keys being resold." And this person offered, there were 10 different websites that were offered to pay those people on the websites to run this article about how, no, there's no problem with selling stolen keys. I don't know. G2A, this guy seems pretty cool to me. So that
I wish
happened.
you could see my face right now.
Yeah, so that happened. Now, apparently, this was just like some marketing puke at G2A. And of course, when this came out, they axed him and they were like, well, this wasn't the plan. And, we got rid of that guy. Don't listen to that guy. That wasn't our thing. Nope, it wasn't us. Rogue PR agent, rogue marketing man.
Christ almighty.
Yeah, G2A sucks assholes. Here's one of their tweets. "These emails were sent by our employee without authorization, for which we apologize to Some Indie Games and the 9 other media outlets that were sent this proposal to. He'll face strict consequences. This is absolutely unacceptable." Sure. I feel like this is like that story when Deep Silver was having the AMA on 8chan or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, we didn't know what we were doing. And it's like, well, that's worse. How did somebody do this?
You didn't Google them you didn't even Google them at that point, kind of thing. This is just asinine.
I feel like if G2A, if you're G2A, right? And last week you got a lot of negative press, and what you do, Michael, is here's a lesson. Here's a business lesson. You just shut the fuck up, right? You shut the fuck up because in a week everybody's gonna be mad about EA. Rockstar, somebody's doing a thing. Oh, there's a controversy about how big Master Chief's tits are in the new Halo game, and we don't like them. Is it a sports bra? There's going to be some problem, and then you're just going to keep being able to shadily sell your fucking shitty dude through your dumb service.
It would have gone away. Basically.
It would have, yeah. But here, you got a whole second week worth of outrage because you decided to try to screw around.
They fucking outright tried to bribe these sites.
Yep. And not just that, but like in an email, that you could just take a picture of and put on the internet.
It's not a self-destructing message, people.
Right.
It's not how email works.
Called them on the phone and you were like, "Hi, this is Frank from G2A. Would you guys say that you hate G2A a lot, or maybe we could do it? Oh no, okay, bye." And then unless they're recording that conversation, and then you put on that funny voice like I did, so then you're like, "I'm Frank from G2A. I don't know who made that phone call. I sound like a superhero, not a weird cartoon lady."
Then it's just hearsay at that point.
Yeah. Get some tradecraft, G2A. Come on, you're just making you're making the bad parts of the internet look bad.
It's just so dumb. Let's be bagpipes.
In fact, if G2A had waited long enough, I'm just so happy. I've been looking for a place to shoehorn this topic in, and nobody's giving me a good opening. So fuck it, I'm going to do it on the show where I do the thing.
Okay, then.
If G2A had waited long enough, they probably would have been completely eclipsed by game girl bathwater gate.
Yes. Gamer girl bathwater.
Oh, I love this so much. This is my favorite thing that's ever. I love this woman so much. All right.
This was a huge discussion of RTX by a lot of people, by the way.
Oh my god. It
came up a lot.
Okay, let me run this down. There's this girl. Her name is Belle Delphine. She's 19 years old. She lives in the UK. She has she has created a dork trap, like a trap for nerds online, where she dresses up. She's very scantily clad all the time. She dresses up in cosplay. She makes that hentai face, where she's got her eyes crossed and her tongue's all sticking out and stuff.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's
I don't know. She does that.
Lego my ego.
So 2 weeks ago, there was a thing where she was like, if this post on Instagram hits 1 million likes, I will make a Pornhub account. And it did. And she did. And what she did was she made a Pornhub account with like 8 videos, and they were all trolls. It was like, Belle Delphine stuffs her hole, and it was just her eating a hamburger for 5 minutes. And it was like Belle Delphine grabs her pussy, and it was just like her petting a cat. And it was like my favorite one was like PewDiePie gets all up in Belle Delphine, and it was her eating a picture of Felix from the PewDiePie.
That's amazing.
And there was like 9 videos, all of them were fake, and of course they all got downvoted. And the comments, Michael, the comments on those videos, like there are some. I watched. Who did I watch? I was watching the H3H3 podcast about this, and I was just like, there's some comments on Pornhub where people are like, we invited you into our gaming community and you fucked us, and now you're less than dead to us. The only way for you to make it up is to do real pornography, 19-year-old girl from the UK. And I'm just like, this is amazing. This is like performance art. This is like some Andy Kaufman shit,
what the
right?
Fuck?
Because she's this cute girl in a bikini who's just playing to geek stuff, and she's got like a Patreon that's making gajillions of dollars. Anyway, last week
she's going all in.
Last week she did a thing where she was selling gamer girl bathwater, where it was her in a bathtub, and then she was going to take the water and put in these little jars and sell the jars for $30 a piece.
They're for $30?
$30 a piece. It's like a little jelly. It's like a little, like a little jar that you would get. I don't know. I don't know how
a mason jar. That's what I hear.
I don't think it's like a full mason jar, but anyway.
I don't know, but still, $30 fucking
$30 for some chick's dirty bath water.
I heard she sold out of them twice.
Now I don't know what you want with her bath water. Like, does it make you rock hard to drink some girl's dirty bath water? Like, do you feel like you're what could possibly be the thing? But it doesn't end there, because there was not one, not two, I think. Hold on, I gotta make sure. Fake stories. Two fake stories that came out about her bathwater. One was that somebody drank the bathwater and they had to go to the hospital. The second was that somebody on 4chan, who was also a molecular biologist,
oh my god,
did a test on the bathwater and found there was no human DNA inside of it, so it was just a big old fucking fake. At which point she put out a tweet that said, I haven't even shipped out the bathwater that was ordered yet, so I don't know where you're getting this. These are just fake things.
Yeah.
And then there's like some pictures where she's got a cold sore, and they're just like, oh, she's got herpes, and it's a Class A felony to send herpes water to people and spread your STD knowingly to another. And I'm just like, this is amazing. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I'm so confused.
I love her. It's like she's trolling you, Michael. She's trolling all of you. She's trolling you. She doesn't give a shit. She knows that you nerds will pay $30 for a thing of water, and she's trolling you.
So fucking dumb.
Like, she made a video. I watched this video. It was like a 7-minute video where she had a dead octopus with googly eyes attached to it. She was just taking it around her apartment, like having a fun day. It was like her hanging out with this. I mean, it was like a big octopus with just 2 googly eyes on it. It was dead, obviously.
I'd hope so.
And just like,
this is an Octodad sequel.
We're playing Mario Kart, and an octopus has one of the controllers, and she has one of the controllers. She's like, tee. She is trolling you.
I literally had never heard of this person until like a few days ago.
Oh my god.
Or like a week ago.
You are being trolled so hard, and look, man, I try to see both sides of every situation, but if you get mad because you bought some gamer girl bath water and it didn't turn out to be actual gamer girl bath water, or you drank somebody's dirty bath water and got herpes from it, well, I don't have any sympathy for you. Like, I think that you have brought this upon yourself.
Jesus Christ. What have you done to us, Internet?
I love it. I love it so much. I love it. If there's anybody on Rage Select who has bought this, or like you send me an email to mail@rageselect.com. I will try to be as nice as I can, but I want to know what the fuck it is you get out of having a jar of somebody's bathwater. Like, I could sell you. Oh no! Then there was the fake website that set up Gamer Girl P that had the same messaging, like the same like logo and everything on it, but it wasn't from her. And it's like, what?
I've never seen you this excited over something in a long time.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I love it. It's like weaponizing. It's like weaponizing horniness, people's weird, horny weirdo-ness.
I heard a story where apparently a guy ordered this and didn't tell his girlfriend. His girlfriend discovered it and was like, should I break up with him? I'm not sure. He sort of kept this from me. And when I found out, he's like, I was worried you were going to find it weird, which I do. So what should I do, kind of thing?
Yes, break up with him. Break up with him.
Shit's so weird.
I don't know. It's just so strange. It's so weird. And like when you go to her Twitter, her Instagram, like, I mean, you know, it's basically pornography. But it's so targeted at like, oh, I love it.
I'm actually very impressed by the insanity of this whole
My
thing.
hat's off to you, Belle Delphine. You keep making money off those nerds. Anyway.
My God.
I'm a lot less excited about the fact that Cuphead is coming to Netflix.
Cuphead is doing what now?
They're making a Cuphead show for Netflix.
Interesting.
Apparently it's going to be executive produced by the guys that made the game. The real question that I want to know, though, is are they going to replicate the style from the game? Because the style of animation they're using, that old like 1920s, 30s, or whatever animation style, has a lot of like repeating frames. You know, think of like Felix the Cat, like that kind of old,
Betty Boop, that kind of
where there's a lot of kind of either exaggeration, and I'm worried that this is just gonna. Look, man, I'm not one of these guys that's just like, oh, everything just looks like Cal Art style. But like, Cuphead has a very pointed animation style, and I hope that it looks like that.
No, there's a reason it was as popular as it was from the get-go, before it even came out.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, I was excited for it for a long time. I thought it was just a boss rush mode.
It was really fucking hard.
Super hard.
Turns out.
But, you know, I'm not, I guess I should be surprised, but I mean, Netflix just makes everything. You just make it it's going to be a movie with like The Rock and somebody coming in that's going to be like a Netflix movie.
No idea.
I don't know.
I know Adam Sandler keeps making movies on there, so.
Yeah.
He came out with one recently with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. I was very confused by that.
Yeah.
Like, money. That's the answer to your question.
I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, this looks like garbage.
I'll just watch something else. Thank you very much.
Yeah, he's got I don't know, he just looks fucking weird in that movie.
Well, here's another weird thing. Somehow, for some reason, Amazon is making a Lord of the Rings MMO. Not based on the Peter Jackson movies or tied into the upcoming Lord of the Rings like show that they're producing.
Yeah.
Apparently it's going to be a free to play. It's going to take place like before the movies, like the Second Age or something like that.
That's weird.
Michael, do people still care? I don't care anymore about Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm done with Lord of the Rings.
Everyone's really into Fortnite now. So
maybe put some Gandalfs in Fortnite.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is like the people who care about Lord of the Rings stopped caring about Lord of the Rings for a while.
Okay, you know what though? Okay, wait, hold on. Let's backtrack because I think we can suss this out, right? I don't know that a lot of people care about Lord of the Rings. However, enough people play Elder Scrolls Online still to this day and World of Warcraft that they keep putting out expansions for it. So there is an MMO crowd, and that crowd seems to like medieval fantasy. So Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, Lord of the Rings.
Half-Life 3 confirmed?
Yes. Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Exactly. That's how this works, people.
I can see it. I mean, obviously free to play, you know, just don't charge any money for it.
I'm sure people will play it. People are playing a Harry Potter free-to-play phone game that's Pokemon Go related right now. I'm sure this will become a thing pretty easily.
You know, Michael, I'm kind of done in a lot of ways with a lot of these franchises, like where it's like, oh, Harry Potter, and I'm like, nah, I'm done with Harry Potter. Like when I got to the end of Harry Potter 5, I was like, oh, that was fun. No more Harry Potter for me, thanks.
You didn't even finish it then, if that's the case.
Or whatever the last one was. Or like you get to the end of Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, all right, cool, bye. And they're like, no, The Hobbit. And I'm like, no, that's okay. And they're like, no, The Hobbit. And I'm like, that's all right. And they're like, no, 3 movies. And I'm like, that's cool, man. Or even Ghostbusters. I know you like Ghostbusters, but I'm just like, hey, you know what? Let's come up with a new idea. Like instead of just, oh, look, another Ghostbusters, another Transformers, another G.I. Joe. Oh, look, the Visionaries are in the next Rock Lords movie. I don't give a shit, man. Make up some new stuff, society. Quit trying to repackage my gamer nostalgia water and like sell it back to me for $30 a piece. Lord of the Rings.
Gandalf, father.
Gandalfs. Put Gandalfs in Fortnite. Hashtag Gandalfs in Fortnite. Obsidian is a game company.
Are they, though?
They are. They came out with a really weird thing last week with this interview where they said that the Outer Worlds is going to not be a politically charged, quote unquote, politically charged game. And I don't know why this is, but like, so the Outer Worlds, of course, is like you're in this kind of corporate dystopia where corporations have taken over everything. And they're gonna like make a game about that, but it's not gonna have like a message or a theme. What's the quote that this guy kept saying? He said he wants to be very careful not to lecture players with the themes featured in the game. And I'm like, well, what's a game that lectures? What is a game that has lectured you, Michael? Or you feel like you've been lectured, and then it's been a bad thing? Because I mean, I guess like
Far Cry 5 tried to lecture me.
Okay,
Far
and
Cry
that was a
5's
bad
really
thing.
bad about
yeah.
that. Where it's just like, well, you're the bad guy because of all the murders that you do that are not as bad as compared to us. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? No.
Would you consider BioShock to be like a lecture about capitalism?
The first
about
one,
libertarianism?
The first one very much is.
Yeah.
The third one has a sort of lecture about choice.
I feel like about racism, but it's kind of weird.
Well, it's more about choice than anything. The third one, and yeah, the first one was just very lectury. Like, there's a lot of games that are that try to be something.
Yeah.
And like Heavy Rain and all those.
I'm just thinking about like this looks so much like a Fallout game, and like most of the Fallout games have kind of had a. Well, no.
Well, they're silly enough to where you don't ever look at them that way.
That's what he talks about in the interview, is that they're basically going to try to make sure it has a sense of humor and not feel like it's beating over your head with a message.
The Metal Gear games try to lecture us constantly.
Oh yeah,
constantly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the literal ending of Metal Gear Solid 2 is one giant lecture.
Yeah, just Snake telling you what Hideo Kojima thinks.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. This is weird. I feel like this is a response to that thing that you see a lot these days in video games, where it's like, video games shouldn't be political. No politics in video games. Boo, boo.
People are just really weird about anything now, where they're just like, when did this become so political? It's like, it's always been like that.
Always.
Like, I know they recently finally announced that Superman Smashes the Klan is going to finally come out in October.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm really excited about, but I'm amazed I haven't seen any comments about saying, when did it become so racially, what's such a social thing? It's like, well, he literally kind of defeated the KKK like in the 40s.
I feel like it's like when we started having cutscenes in video games and the storytelling became more sophisticated, that like there are human themes that also have societal implications, like
should I save Slippy?
Like, I don't know, you think about the original Resident Evil, which you can totally look at as like a zombie game, or you can think of it as like an anti-corporate game, because the bad guy in the whole Resident Evil franchise is a pharmaceutical corporation, right?
Which is still crazy as shit to me when it comes to that series.
Yeah. Like, you could say, well, I don't know, they should have just been like, what should Umbrella have been to make this not have any implications? Anyway, I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. It still looks cool to me. I'm fine.
I'm sure it's going to be fine.
All right. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit here. Steam has a new thing called Steam Labs that launched, that is like a prototype thing it's like an app that are part of Steam. I haven't actually gotten into it yet, where apparently it'll like generate 6-second trailers for all the games that come out, so you can just kind of like see what those games are really quickly. There was a thing where they wanted to be able to procedurally generate kind of like a Nintendo Direct, where it was like they would show you a part of the game and then they would use robot voice like that was linked to whatever the description of the game was to like do a voiceover over the trailer. Apparently though, then they like watched one and they were like, oh, that's really disturbing, listen to this robot voice. So no. But apparently they're doing a bunch of different kind of weird experiments over there, and it's been relatively well received. So I don't know. I didn't know there was a Twitter account that was called 6-second Steam trailers, where it's just, and I as soon as I read this article, I subscribed to it, where I'm like, oh, that seems useful, where instead of having to deal with Steam's dumbass video player, I could just be like, no, maybe that one.
That actually does sound really useful, actually.
Yeah, instead of having to dig around in Steam. Last week we had TennoCon, the big Warframe convention. There was a shitload of things there. I watched a little bit of it. There's the whole flying around in a mech suit thing. There was a new the Wukong Prime Tenno that was out there. There was like a new planet that they're showing off. They showed off a big new revamped opening cinematic for the game that kind of explains the story. There was kind of a teaser for this new thing. There's a lot of this shit. I don't know that either one of us know enough about Warframe to go over this in detail. All I know is that Warframe is cool, man. I like it.
Yeah. Everyone tells me that Warframe is really cool and he doesn't afraid of anything.
What?
I'm so glad that caught you off guard.
I still don't know what you...
It's a very old meme about Halo.
Okay.
Because Halo's a cool dude and doesn't afraid of anything.
Why would you think that I would know any Halo memes at all? I don't know.
That's
no
a
Halo
very
memes.
old meme.
Well,
it's a very old meme, sir, but it checks out.
I guess I am a very old man, so you could assume that I would know about old stuff. Like, I watched a French horror movie from the 1960s last week.
Really?
Yeah. That was a weird one. Anyway, so yeah, there's some cool new cinematics. There's a new kind of cinematic that deals with the opening of the game, which is kind of nifty. We watched it. It's action-packed. You know, it's not really what the game is, but it's a nice little cinematic thing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's also another trailer that we saw for the what's it called? The New War, which seems like it's going to maybe introduce like a new type of enemy faction. Yeah. Warframe is cool, and I would just like to take this opportunity to say, if you haven't played Warframe, like somebody on the in the Discord when we were talking about it, TennoCon, they were like, Warframe has always seemed really too complicated for me, like it's confusingly complicated. But the thing is that when you play Warframe, each mission introduces like a new item. Like they don't just like throw you into the deep end. It's like they teach you how to use the construction system. They teach you how to level up. They teach you how to do this thing and that thing and this thing. And so there's a whole multi-hour tutorial that you can go through that'll totally teach you what you need to know to play Warframe.
Oh, okay.
And it's free. Like, it's free. You go download it. It's free. It's on everything,
yes,
right?
It's on everything.
It's on the Switch, for fuck's sake. Like,
it's pretty nice on there.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Warframe. Everybody should try out Warframe. I wish that I could play the same game for more than like 4 hours without getting bored of it. But I don't know. Maybe I won't get bored of The Man of Medan, which is that Supermassive Games like horror game on a boat thing that's coming out from the guys who made Until Dawn. And they announced this week that there's going to be a multiplayer 2-player co-op mode to the game where you and another friend can both play, and then like you make choices and the choices impact the story. What are your thoughts on this company, Michael? Did you play Until Dawn?
I've watched a lot of Until Dawn plays.
Okay.
Like it's like I have it because it was free for PlayStation Plus.
All right.
But I have more fun seeing people's decisions get people killed.
Okay.
Like I think like I remember when I watched yours and Brian's thing, where you're like, I don't think we're gonna get anyone killed, and then immediately right after that, you guys got like half of that fucking crew killed.
I feel like we came out of the back of that one though with for the amount of reckless decisions that we made, we did pretty good by the end of that game.
I was shocked that anyone was alive by the end of that game by the time you guys are done.
Yeah,
but no, I've always really liked the idea of these games a lot, and having a co-op version of basically the way Until Dawn's decision making works, I think is an interesting idea.
Yeah. Do you think you would if you were going to play this? Do you think that would be like your first choice? Do you think you would want to play it with somebody else?
I would consider it. I don't know if it would be my first choice, but
kind of reminds me of like what for a while there, how all the RE games had a co-op feature, right?
Yeah,
like
RE5,
5 and 6,
5 and 6 had one, and 6 had a weird one where like. Since it had the multiple branching story, not multiple branching story, there's 3 different storylines. They would intersect with each other.
Yeah,
so it would be like so one guy would be from another thing, and he maybe could make a decision that would affect you in some way. It was very interesting that way.
Revelations 2, I believe, also did that.
I think so.
Really big because that was one where the different characters had different powers. Because remember, like the chapter 2 was like Barry and then a weird psychic little girl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway, it looks like you're going to be able to play this either single player, online co-op, or they also are going to have like the 5-person phone, like some of those other games that they've done, where it's like you're making a decision type of thing. They also announced this week that this whole thing is like an anthology, right? What do they call it? The Dark Pictures anthology.
Oh, okay.
And that starting with the first one, they're going to be making 8 of these total, 2 a year for the next 4 years,
which is crazy.
Obviously, this company, like somebody at Sony, really likes them, and they're just like, here's unlimited money. Because I can't imagine that like what was the one? What was in the insane asylum? It was like the outpatient or something like that. And then there was the one that was the cop one that I don't know anybody who played that one. With the phone.
I literally forgot it existed until you told me about it earlier.
And then there's that really bad VR one that you and I played that's like a shooter.
Yeah.
Like I get the Until Dawn like was good, but everything they've made after that has been kind of like,
well, even Until Dawn is like kind of iffy at times.
Yeah,
like people's teeth are just fucking massive in that game. It's just creepy to look at.
The roller coaster VR game was good.
That one was awesome.
The blood bowl, rondo of blood, something
blood
with
and
blood,
something.
blood and
I
tears.
played that at Chris's because he has it.
Yeah,
and I was just going nuts with that thing.
Oh, that's one of scary as fuck, man. But that one's pretty good though because you still have shooty shoots. I think I made Matt play that one when we played it on Rage Select. Or I played half of it and then Matt played like the second half of it, and he got the point where the ghosts come up in your face and they're like, ah, and you're like, ah. Matt Frank. Anyway, we had a trailer for Fire Emblem 3 Houses, the Blue Lion House, which like last week we had the Black so-and-so house. This is kind of the same thing. I didn't even make Michael watch this. Basically just introducing the house, introducing some of the characters and showing some of the stuff.
Their strengths and their weaknesses.
Yeah, I'm definitely into this, except that there was also another thing this week where the developer said that each one of the 3 houses from Fire Emblem will be an 80-hour long story. So,
which is crazy as shit to me.
If you want to play through all 3 houses, it's going to be 240 hours.
It's definitely a more bang for your buck kind of thing, though.
Yeah, too much. Too much bang. Less bang, motherfuckers. I barely finished one of these games.
I never finished any of them.
Oh.
I started the last 3DS one, and I was like, I'm bad at this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just doing the same thing for 80 hours is a little... like that noise. Yeah. There's a trailer for Greedfall, which was a weird... This is Focus Interactive and Spiders, who are they're these mid-tier European companies. When I looked at it at the beginning, it looked like it's like a kind of colonial like frontiersman.
Because they made that Rats game, right?
Which one?
The Plague Tale?
Oh, Plague Tale Innocence.
Spiders.
Was that Spiders? I think it might have been. I know it was Focus, but I don't know if they made that. Let me see. Plague Tale Innocence. I don't know if Spiders actually developed that. No, it was Asobo Studio.
Okay, I know we were looking at something else where I know it says it was a game by Spiders. I just can't remember what it was.
Yeah, it's weird. They're no, not God, no, I don't want to just fucking look at the Wikipedia page that has spiders all over it. Films, games, music, albums, periodicals.
Should type in Spiders Game Studio.
Wait, hold on. Let's see if I can just find game. Games.
Oh, they made those Sherlock Holmes games.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. Techromancer, Bound by Flame, and Mars Warlogs and Of Orcs and Men. Like,
okay,
they're a weird company. They're a weirdo. They make these kind of strange but compelling games. This one I was like not entirely down with up until the point that I saw that you're also going to be fighting giant like monsters.
There's a lot of crazy shit going on in the trailer, actually.
And there's like this kind of weird Assassin's Creed meets like weird magic, and it's kind of crazy looking. Like,
That's
I don't
shocking.
know. I had a much better time with that Sinking City than I thought I was going to. So
that's good.
I don't know. Maybe this. I feel like I've seen a trailer for this one before. Let's see. From there, we got a brief teaser for Disintegration, which is going to be the next game from Marcus Leto, one of the co-creators of Halo. So I don't know. It's just kind of like the trailer is just kind of a picture of like a jetpack or
it's like a ship, I think.
Ship of some
guns
sort.
on
You're the Halo guy here. What do you think? Is this exciting?
Well, hopefully. Like the last time they used anything ship related in Halo was in Reach. Or at least when it came to like a jet kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be something like that. I don't know. Like it could go either way is the thing, because a lot of stuff after Halo Reach has been kind of iffy.
Yeah,
from those creators in general.
Well, outside of Destiny, what have other creators from the Halo franchise even done?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's not really anything that anybody knows, if anything.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So hopefully this is something that's worthwhile, really, is what it comes down to.
Okay, I can see that. And finally, we had a trailer for One Punch Man, the hero nobody knows, that has some new characters, Vaccine Man and Mosquito Girl and Carnage Kabuto and the Sea King, all just villains from One Punch Man Season 1.
Yeah.
Still think it looks pretty cool. Still kind of want to know what how does it work? How's it work, Michael?
Yeah, because every time we see it and Saitama's on the screen, they can't do anything to him.
He's just standing there.
So
while he's getting hit.
Does he just immediately murder things? I don't know. I would really be curious. But I'm more curious if a Saitama can fight another Saitama is really what it comes down to.
Saitama mirror match. Oh, my God. Well, the one part that I like about this is there's this montage of all this different action happening. And I feel like at one point, Moomin Rider comes in and then just gets punched. Like, he just comes in and hits them with his bike and then just gets punched. And I'm like, okay, good.
Good old Moomin Rider.
I want him to be an assist trophy that just comes in, throws his bike at somebody, and then gets punched in the face. I don't know. It's weird that we had a second trailer for this so close after the first one. But I'm
how many people will be in it? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Well, it's weird because they've got the girl from Season 2 that's Terrible Tornado's sister, whose name I can never remember.
I thought she was at the end of Season 1.
I don't believe so. Because she runs like a group of the A-rank heroes or something like that, or B-rank heroes.
She runs the B-rank heroes.
I don't think she shows up in the anime at the end. I think it's just Terrible Tornado.
I guess I just read the manga that far, I guess, if that's the case.
But she shows up in Season 2, but then I haven't seen anybody else from Season 2. Because it's Genos and Sonic, Moomin Rider.
Everybody in there is in Season 1.
Yeah, except for her. She's the only one.
I could have sworn she was.
I don't know, man. Oh no, I gotta go back and watch One Punch Man Season 1 again. One of my favorite animes. Oh no. Oh, Michael, what have you done to me? No. Oh, stop it. All right. Speaking of stopping it, stop it, Ed Boon. Just put out the thing already. We got a brief teaser for Sindel coming to Mortal Kombat 11. Zombie Sindel, obviously.
Oh, okay.
From Ed Boon on his Twitter account, which is pretty cool. I like Sindel. She's got kind of a jackass move set. I like anybody that has a jackass move set in Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Kind of be a dick to people.
Sindel.
Yeah. You remember that game Ion Maiden that we played?
Yes.
The 3D Realms game? So apparently Iron Maiden sued them because the way that the logo was written was too close to their own thing, et cetera, et cetera. So they've changed the name of it. It's now called Ion Fury instead of Ion Maiden, which sucks because Iron Fury isn't like a pun, but Iron Maiden and then making that Ion Maiden, that's clever. You just rename it. There's like a trenched situation all over again.
It's unfortunate.
Steel Brigade. But I guess Iron Maiden's got to have oh no, I'm going to get confused about which one of these is Iron Maiden and which one of them isn't.
Which one of these is music and which one's about the lady shooters?
Yeah, jackass. Psychonauts 2 isn't coming out till 2020.
Oh.
They backed it up into 2020. Need more time to work for it. They got to spend all that Microsoft money first, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So that's
is that coming out for both systems?
PS4 and Xbox One. Yeah.
All right.
Because it was crowdfunded and they were bought by Microsoft, not Epic. So it's going to be on all the systems they said it was going to be on ahead of time. Bard's Tale 4 is also coming to consoles later this year, which was kind of a really interesting RPG. That I think was pretty well received on the PC, but it was PC only.
Oh, okay.
So it's coming to the PS4 and the Xbox One later on this year. And finally, before we take a break, we got some fun stuff. So, Michael, I didn't even realize this wasn't a thing, but there is a game called Before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII. Before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII was a phone-only game that only came out in Japan that was a prequel that took place 6 years before Final Fantasy VII happened. Up until now, it has never been released or even translated. Well, a group of people have gotten out there and basically translated it, done a fan translation. And what's weird is you can download it, but you have to have RPG Maker 2003 or higher in order to run it.
Huh.
Because it like runs inside of that. I think it's like if they were to actually package it up into an installer, then like maybe they would bring down Square's wrath. But if this is even still up on the internet by the time you find it, you maybe go download it if you were interested in doing it. I actually did download it and pulled it up, and it's a really rough translation, and it's a really rough game that was never meant to be played on anything but a cell phone.
Yeah.
But I know that some people are big fans of Final Fantasy VII, so
I'm amazed they haven't actually tried releasing something about it.
Yeah, it seems like the sort of thing that Square would have done.
They love just milking the shit out of Final Fantasy VII.
They do. The same way that Konami likes to milk the shit out of Metal Gear, which has nothing to do with our final story here, and that is that somebody has taken Keanu Reeves and put him in Metal Gear Solid 5. So if you want to play Metal Gear Solid 5, but you want to be Keanu instead of Snake, apparently you can totally do that now. You could choose either Cyberpunk 2077 Keanu or John Wick Keanu, and it will put whichever Keanu you want in your game. So that happened, and yeah, now you could do that. Anyway, that's the end of the news for this week. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we are going to do questions. So stick around, and we'll be back momentarily. Michael, are you ready for questions?
Shoot.
Are you ready to answer some questions?
Go for it.
Mail at rageselect.com is...
Are you sure you're ready for them?
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for anything. Mail@rageselect.com is the email address to send questions into. This first one comes in from Joe. He says, hey, Jeff and Michael, I'd like to ask if you've seen the most recent extra credits episode, Normalizing Nazis. I have to say I was shocked with how out of character this seemed for them and how, frankly, a questionable stance on, quote, you should never be forced to play a Nazi or a terrorist in a game because it will normalize such shocking imagery and ideology. I'll say this right out. I hate the shit out of Nazis and gladly killed thousands, both Wolfenstein games, but I think it's kind of a slippery slope to say that if a game is set in World War II, shouldn't have PvP mode where players can or shouldn't be allowed to play the villain. Hell, any game set in World War II should be M-rated anyway, so impressionable kids and have their parents know better, or at least taught them what World War was, right? Thank you for the wonderful podcast. Listen to every week from Joe, or from Canada. And that's from Joe. Did you watch this?
No, but I've heard about this.
It's been downvoted like crazy. Like it's 13K upvotes and 181K downvotes.
Yeah, I heard this is everyone's shitting on this one as hard as they can.
Yeah. For anybody who hasn't watched it, the basics of it say that that if you it's kind of what Joe said in the email, is basically what they say is that, okay, so you're playing Battlefield and now you're playing as the Axis, you're playing as a Nazi, right? Or I don't know, there's gonna be a lot of people going into granular detail about the difference between Nazis and what the Wehrmacht army or whatever it is, and in any case, that you don't have really a choice. You're just put on one of the two teams. Now you're playing as a Nazi, seeing all the Nazi paraphernalia and propaganda, or not propaganda, but paraphernalia and kind of stuff, normalizes the existence of just looking at them and makes you think of them as just a side, which then would lead to people who are a little bit more not gullible. What is it? Able to be influenced.
Impressionable.
Impressionable. There you go. Impressionable people thinking that maybe, that stuff isn't it's not horrifying. And then it's you're going to go to a website that's a neo-Nazi website. And you're going to be like, well, I don't know. I played Nazis in Battlefield 5. Let's see what all this is about. And then you're going to be like, I'm a white supremacist now.
Slippery slope.
And the kind of the same thing with terrorists, which, that if you play as a terrorist, in Counter-Strike, you be on the terrorist side, right? You're technically trying to blow stuff up.
I remember that was the argument, though, when Medal of Honor tried rebooting. Because they wanted, I think the Taliban was supposed to be the other side.
Yeah.
At one point. That was a huge controversy.
Oh,
at the
right.
time.
The modern Medal of Honor. Yeah.
It was a huge thing at the time.
Yeah. This is a thing that I don't know that I am. I understand their reasoning. It's still it's a tough nut to think about, though, about if you're having a person versus person, hypothetically speaking, right? Does that mean that you shouldn't? One of the big things that they seem to focus on is that a person should be able to essentially opt out of being put into a morally reprehensible team, or a team that represents something that they consider to be morally reprehensible. Also, what was the other thing that they were saying? I don't remember. I'll come back to it later. It's difficult, but then it starts to bring up some really weird things about should you have to be the Empire in Star Wars? I mean, the Empire killed a bunch of people, right? The Empire's not, they're good guys, right? They're an authoritarian state that they blow up planets, for fuck's sake.
The issue with this argument is that you're just saying that you should never be the bad guys in general in anything, and that's kind of a hard thing to really say, because there's plenty of games where it's just be the bad guy kind of thing,
right?
Be the renegade, like Mass Effect, be the douchebag kind of thing. It's your argument goes against everything of those types of games, and it's not like you start playing that side and then the game has a button to salute, and the game has a button to say slurs to the enemy or something. That's the thing.
Or that you go to exit and it's hey, we noticed that you played as the Nazis. Do you want to go check out the Daily Stormer?
Yeah,
it's not no, hold on.
It's not like you stop playing the game and then there's a message that goes, hey, here's a local meetup if there's Nazis or something. It's no, the game's hell, your character model barely changes. You don't even see what you look like half the time.
Actually, on that particular note, I remember when Chris and I were playing the Call of Duty World War II beta, and they let you create a soldier, right?
Yeah.
And we created a black woman, and then it put us on the Axis side, and so we were technically a black woman fighting for the Nazis, and it was no, wait a minute, guys. This is, in any case...
that's the thing, is that it's never treated as an actual that's the thing, is that he's making the argument, the fact that it's not treated as a horrible thing that you're on that side,
right,
is the issue. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter when it comes to this sort of thing, because you're not role playing. Like if you're doing the whole role play, then I can see what the issue is, because then I feel like you're normalizing it. Whereas this, you're just like, well, it's just I'm on one team and then I'm on the other team kind of thing. And people, like, I don't really get the idea of having issues with that all that much. Like, I've had that issue when I play a game where I'm like, I didn't really want to be the Covenant character kind of thing, but I did it anyways. It doesn't really matter. It's not like me playing like the Covenant or the Empire means that I want to go like smash down some motherfucker's door and start pulling them out or something. Like, it's the thing. The argument is like, the games don't make us do anything.
Well, it also, the other thing is I'm not always a fan of a slippery slope argument, because I feel like a lot of times when we get into, like, I actually think this is kind of an interesting thing to have a discussion about. The problem is it's a nuanced discussion. It's like way more nuanced than just like you should X or you should not Y. Like there's some questions in there that maybe deserve to be talked about, but then you're going to go back to like, right? Like, okay, we were talking about it. It was the end of the last one, right? In Metal Gear Solid 5, you play as Big Boss, and you're establishing Outer Heaven.
Yeah.
Outer Heaven is a military group that, like, threatens the world through terrorism using a Metal Gear in Metal Gear 1. And, like, you're the guy that made that. You're also the hero of that particular story. And it's like, well, should you be playing a game where the person that you are in the story eventually becomes a terrorist, becomes like this, and even that's the most basic read, right? You want to get back to the just like, well, somebody that actually Snake is trying to destabilize the Patriots' control over the world by
the Patriots aren't really a thing at that point.
Terrorism, blah 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 blah. Well, they kind of are. That's when.
By the time Metal Gear 1 starts, but at this point,
yeah. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of questionable. I remember reading articles before about, like, the number of people that Nathan Drake shoots in the face that are doing their jobs, or just like, Nathan Drake is these guys were employed by somebody to like guard a place, and here comes Nathan Drake to just shoot them all in the face and then punch them.
Well, that's the argument with a lot of shows. Like when Arrow first started, like, the Green Arrow character just runs in and murders the entirety of the bodyguards,
right,
who were hired to just do that job. But when he gets to the actual guy, he's like, just stop doing bad things, and then leaves. And you're like, well, what the fuck was all that about?
Yeah. I guess the thing is that I can make an argument about like a game like Hatred, right? Where it's just that that isometric one with the Slipknot guy where he's just killing people.
Well, that one you can make that argument very easily, because it's just violence for violence sakes. Where this isn't really like teaching one thing or another. Really, I really feel is the issue.
Is it really glorifying the Axis for them to win, and then?
Because that's the thing. Like I said, it's not. I don't feel like it's glorifying them, because if it did, you would be able to do all of those things I mentioned, like salute and tell people slurs and all these kinds of things.
There'd be
like in the game,
Sig Heil emote that you could do.
Like, and it's not edgy either, kind of thing. It's just the game. Like, we've been doing this for so many years that it's not really normalized even now. Like, every time we see them, we're always like, that's the bad guy. There's nothing at any point of any of the games that will tell you that's like, that guy's the good, that guy's just a side. It's like, no, they're the bad guys. It's the cops and robbers thing. Like when people play cops and robbers, there's going to be somebody who's going to be the robbers.
Right.
Did that guy grow up to like rob a bunch of banks? Maybe.
The Fast and the Furious is technically making a bunch of like thieves look super cool with their super cool cars, and they're all having sex and doing stuff. But they're thieves in that first movie.
Yeah, they're the bad guys in the first movie.
Ripping off, like Paul Walker is trying to get in with them but at the end of the movie he just like lets them go because hard to go. And it's like I guess the thing is that what it comes down to for me is I can understand the argument that they're making. The problem that I have with it is that if you're looking to sanitize the world in a way that nobody could ever take something the wrong way, then we're all just going to be watching Jay Leno 24 hours a day and playing Pac-Man. Like, you're going to have to find the most inoffensive things, because there are themes in a lot of things that can end up being problematic, or even we've seen time and time again. Okay, here's a great example. You and I both watch anime, right?
Yeah.
I watched a lot of anime recently. I think anime's got a lot of really good themes that you don't see in American stuff about, like, kind of believing in yourself and like what people feel on the inside, that a lot of times I feel like gets kind of glossed over in Western media, because, in the West, we're all just men with no emotions and we just nod stoically to each other, and that's the thing. Whereas, in My Hero Academia, Deku spends half that fucking franchise screaming about how awesome he wants to be and whatnot. However, anime also has a lot of like bouncing boobs and fan service and shorty skirts and blah 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 blah, right? Is that it's not like just universally good or universally bad. And I guess while I can understand kind of what they're talking about here, if you're looking to safeguard all media, if you're looking to safeguard people from any media that could possibly end up shifting their own personal Overton window, in a direction that would maybe make them more susceptible to ideas that you don't like. Yeah, you're talking about getting rid of a lot of stuff, like not just playing Nazis in video games.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman cripples people,
all the time,
and is a criminal. He is a criminal who cripples people, right? Like, he doesn't work for the Gotham City Police Department. He goes out and breaks people's arms and legs. We don't ever see that, right? But he's a rich man who dresses up in a silly costume and then goes and breaks people's arms because he knows what's right? Like,
it's insane.
Like, there's some problems right there.
The issue I have with this is that thematically, the argument he's making doesn't really happen in video games. Yeah, the thing, because he's making the argument that it's going to make people see, two different sides of something, but games like this don't ever treat the other side like part of it. Like, there's very few times the storylines you using one of the German sides. Really, it's not really something that comes up. Like, if anything, like, if you want to see something that not glorifies but is willing to give two different sides of war, it's Gundam. Like, the original Mobile Suit Gundam is very much about the terrors of war from both sides. Like, from that Zeta and Double Zeta, it's just like you see both sides of Xeon and the Federation. They're terrible people on both sides. That never happens in games. Everybody's the good guy and everybody's murdering Nazis.
There's also stories. I mean, I've read, watched movies, I've played video games or whatnot, where the other side, like the idea that it gets a little weird to me, and this may just be because of my age, and who knows, maybe I'm just on the wrong side of history and everybody's a monster. Maybe I'm just history's greatest monster. Is that, like, not every single person who fought for the Germans was like a white supremacist, right?
Nor did they want to be there.
There's a difference between, like, white supremacist rhetoric. There's a difference between the SS and, like, a guy that thinks he's fighting for, like, national freedom or independence, or blah 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 blah. I'm not really very equipped to get into this, and I'm sure that somebody is definitely going to be in the comments to tell me how wrong I am about what not.
Well, I'm expecting the comments to hate us in some way.
But like, I don't know. There's just, unfortunately, I just feel like this gets into a weird position of once you get into the habit. Okay. This shit is all way too complicated to have, as far as I'm concerned, like a single unified rule for.
Well, this is kind
right?
of this is the only thing I'll really have to say about it, is that the people who end up idolizing these sorts of things were already crazy people to begin with.
Right.
They were already the Kylo Ren kind of thing, following the Empire idea that this is kind of cool. Those people were already batshit insane to begin with.
Right.
And there was no helping them from the get-go. Video games did nothing to them. They were already going to do that.
Or I think it would be more useful to work at trying to keep those people from maybe radicalizing, or not. Radicalizing isn't even the right word for it, but going down that road, that instead of getting rid of Battlefield 5 because Battlefield 5 might lead somebody to be less horrified by an Iron Cross. That you should maybe work on, like, well, why is that person gravitating in that direction? I don't think they're gravitating towards the Daily Stormer because they saw an Iron Cross in Battlefield 5 and they were just like, oh yeah, that's just one side of a thing. And then they were like, oh, this other website has a thing. And it's like, I never thought about whether white people are the best and all other races are just terrible and we should get rid of them. That sounds reasonable. Like, I think you're missing some steps.
Yeah,
maybe is what I'm trying to say. Like,
there's a lot of steps in between that. That's what I mean. Like, the video game, it did nothing. Like, having the other side be that did nothing. No Russian did nothing to, like, a lot of people.
Right.
Like, it's just not really how that works.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. But then, like, just about everything in the world, Michael, I always feel a lot of times when we have this conversation, it comes down to people wanting to say, like, it comes down to this weird binary thing. Like, that video is garbage and they're 100% wrong. And I'm like, well, I think there's some stuff in there to maybe think about, but it's a much more complicated thing to talk about than just yes, no, than a thumbs up or a thumbs down on YouTube, right?
Well, it was the reason I brought up the Medal of Honor thing, because that Medal of Honor thing was that was a very... Like, that the Taliban is a very recent thing.
Yeah.
Like, and especially at that time. That was, what, 2008? That was, like, 10 years ago?
Somewhere around there. It was not...
Like, Medal of Honor tried rebooting, like, in the middle of, like, the peak of this shit.
Yeah.
And it was a really bad idea to make that sort of thing happen.
2010.
Okay,
yep.
So, yeah, not even 9 years after the whole thing. Like, it wasn't even close to being done at that point. Like, it was a bad idea kind of thing, and I still think it was. With Nazis, it's just like, we've been doing this dance for 30 years. Like, it's not like all of a sudden the entire country is Nazis. Sure, a chunk of them are, but not the entire thing. I mean,
here's maybe where I'll close up. There's a movie that I watched that I've seen a bunch of times. It's a World War II movie called A Bridge Too Far, right? Yes. It's a great movie. It's
classic.
Everybody and their mother's in it, right? And it's about the this airborne drop holding onto this town called Arnhem, and it turns out there's an SS Panzer division there, and that the defenders just get totally fucked up, and that it's a big debacle. It's a big thing that happened. There's some scenes in that towards the end of the movie where the Allies are captured by the Germans, and they're kind of like sympathetic a little bit to them. So it's like they're not. I guess the thing is that, are you saying that just like every time there's a Nazi in a movie that they have to be like this cackling? They have to be the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
The guy in the black, the Totenkopf or whatever,
fucking crazy person.
Like, they've all got to be that. And if you show them as even remotely human, then you're what? Normalizing Nazis that could then lead somebody. Again, I think that we should deal with all the steps in between.
There's a lot of steps in between. That's really the issue, is that there's too many steps in between, and that's where the actual argument comes into.
Yeah.
Is when you get to point A to point B.
Yeah.
It's everything in between that, and that's really where the argument needs to be.
I think so. That's what I think. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm sure that you've already typed out to tell me why I am wrong.
Tell us why we're wrong.
Sure, you tell me why I'm wrong.
And why I'm a literal Nazi.
Actually, yeah. Call Michael a Nazi. That should be fun. That'll be interesting.
Tell me I'm from like Earth, whatever fucking Nazi Earth that was. I think that was 4.
This is going to be a very contentious podcast. Because Ken Not Keith wrote in. I'm going to read his email.
Baddies?
What's that?
Are we the baddies?
Yeah, we put the skulls on. We're the baddies. Ken Not Keith writes in. He wrote in last week with a question, and this week he writes in with a follow-up. He says, what up, Jeff and Michael? First off, thanks for the advice. It really helped. I had a falling out with one, but I'm good with the others. But that's not what I'm here for. So I use this amazing podcast when I do hill runs in the morning. I'm running the mountains that are outside of the city I live in. Someone was telling me before I started running the mountain that mountain lions might eat my face and how they're the most terrifying animal to ever exist. And quite frankly, that person is fucking wrong. I mean, there are chimpanzees in the Congo that are like 6 feet tall and they could rip your arm clean the fuck off. So my question is, what animal terrifies the shit out of you when you see pictures or hear stories about it? Mine personally is alligator's dog. I read a recent article that a 450-pound gator survived being hit by a goddamn semi. I think it just means alligators.
Yeah, I think so.
Alligators, dog.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
And Archer was right. Gators are way scarier than having a brain aneurysm. Thanks for answering my question. Stay awesome. That's from Ken, not Keith. We're going to come back to his other thing because somebody wrote in a big kind of screen about that. So, that's the other controversial thing. So, what animal terrifies you, Michael?
I had something for this.
Oh, yeah?
Because there are the few animals that I'm just like, fuck all of that. Recently, I think tigers, the stories of tigers have freaked me out a bit much because there's it turns out I think it's in India or something. There's a lot of areas that are open area zoos, as they're called, or something like that. Oh,
like a safari where you like drive your car through, right?
Kind of. So what it is that tigers will just hang out in these areas. And I saw a video of a dude on like his motorbike just being chased by a fucking tiger.
Oh my God.
On his way like back home or some shit. And I was like, oh, fuck all of that.
Yeah.
kind of thing. And there's just like, yeah. And then there's like stories of like people going to these things and for some reason getting out of their cars for dumb reasons and just getting taken by these things. And I was like, oh, sweet Jesus.
Yep.
And gators. Yeah, he's right. Gators. Like the fact that those things can become fucking massive. And the way they kill things is they grab them and like twirl.
Yeah,
they just twirl and twirl and twirl.
Flip them around.
Shit's scary.
I've been on record with the answer to this question a bunch of times. Bears.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Bears are fucking frightening as shit to me. Like everybody's like, oh, they're so cuddly. I'm like, no. Did you ever watch Grizzly Man?
Do you know what happened to that dude?
Yeah, that guy got eaten by bears.
The audio alone apparently is like horrifying.
The fact that you could shoot bears and they don't die
immediately.
There's so much bear there that they'll kill you anyway.
And they can get fucking huge.
Yeah, they get really, really big. Like
Did I tell you that weird nightmare I ever had?
It was about bears.
Yeah, I was I had a nightmare like this was like a year into me living in Austin that for some reason I was on my way back to my apartment and there was just a giant fucking grizzly bear hanging outside of my door.
Oh my God.
With a panda, and they were there because they heard I was a cool dude and they wanted to hang out. But they like cartoon looking bears. They were like realistic like murder the shit out of you looking bears.
Yeah.
This went on for like an hour. Like in my dream time, and it was just like horrifying that it I couldn't just like leave apparently. So I was just in my apartment hanging out with a giant fuck off grizzly bear and I was terrified the entire time.
That sounds about right.
It was so weird.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I don't like bears. They're big and they can kill you and I feel like they're big. It's how big they are that really just kind of freaks me out. They can stand up like a person, but
like,
oh my God,
like 8 feet tall. Do you know the Incredible Hulk is 8 feet tall? Like they can become Hulk sized.
Yeah, like Hulk fights a bear. And then of course I hate spiders. I just hate all spiders. I don't know. You know what? I don't give a fuck about bugs. Like I'll pick up a roach and throw it out of my house or a cricket or you're like, and I'm like, nah, it's whatever. It's just a bug. It's like put 2 more legs on there. No. Nope. Nope.
I'm kind of with some of his friends though on mountain lions because I grew up in an area with mountain lions, and the stories I heard were not great.
I don't like deer. I mean, I'm not afraid of them, but like, there's so many deer.
There's something creepy about seeing a deer in the middle of the night when you drive by it. Like, it's just all it has to do is like run in front of you, and you're just fucked.
I hate deer. I see them when I take my dog on a walk, and it bothers the hell out of him. Like he wants to go see what these big tall dogs are, and then they just like look at you and they smell bad.
Yeah, they're not
Lyme
sweet.
disease and shit.
They're delicious though.
Fuck you, deers. I kill them. I get a bow and arrow and go kill them, but I'm sure that somebody in my neighborhood would be like, oh no, you killed the deer. Oh no, they were so majestic and beautiful.
Also, you need a license.
Ugh. They're just like, they make that noise.
I haven't gone deer hunting in like 10 years. I just realized that.
There's like, they keep having babies. I've been watching the babies grow up because I like to fucking hang out where I walk my dog. And so I keep seeing them. And like, they'll be in front of me and my dog will be like at the end of his leash trying to get at them. And then the deer will like pitter, 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 pat, like forward like 3 feet. And then look back, and I'm like, "Yes, dear, we're still coming. We're still walking towards you." Just meantime, my dog is just like, I can't figure the fuck out.
Something odd about deers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of scary animals in the world that'll kill the shit out of you. I mean,
Komodo dragons.
Komodo dragons.
Those I'm interested by Komodo dragons.
Cassowaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
Mostly because I know that cassowaries don't give a shit and they will like come at you.
Yeah.
Like they have a species that have not learned to be afraid of us with our opposable thumbs and our firearms and stuff. They don't give a fuck. They're just dinosaurs, man. They're coming at you. They think they rule this planet.
Yeah, they're the closest thing to like full on velocity, like Udoraptors.
They're so ridiculous looking too.
They're crazy as shit. I remember hearing. I can't remember which. I know it's Australia, but I think it was the Ostrich War or something like, or the Emu War.
Oh yeah, the Emu
like
War.
That.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That shit was crazy. And
Yep.
They lost that fight.
They did. They totally lost it. Yep. Yeah. The Emu War. Yeah, you should go look that up.
It's pretty funny.
It's really crazy.
It's kind of a basic.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to recap this because we had somebody who wrote in last week. Keith wrote in and basically talked about doing a podcast with some people, and that as time has gone on, he is kind of not liked doing the podcast more and more because it seems like his podcast friends were integrating some gay slurs and some stuff that he just wasn't comfortable with, and he said, "Hey, I'm not comfortable with this," and they were like, "Well, you need to grow a thicker skin and quit being too politically correct." And he was like, "What should we do?" And John and I were like, "Quit, leave, go away.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Stop doing that. Do something else." So, we got a big one here from somebody who did not sign their name, who said, "Hi, Jeff and Michael. I would like to say something in regards to that guy that wants to leave his podcast. People that make regular homophobic slurs are assholes. People that make regular homophobic slurs and then defend the use of those slurs when challenged or questioned are pieces of shit. People who say things like grow a thicker skin or don't be so PC do not want to take responsibility for their actions, do not want to mature, do not want to consider or admit that they are wrong about something or are doing something hurtful and are trying to make you the problem when it is they who are the problem." The writer sounds like they want to be better themselves for the sake of their daughter. It's a wonderful thing. The writer is considering how their actions and the actions of the people around them might affect their child and the world they grow up in. It's a very mature thing to do, and I hope and encourage the writer to keep doing this throughout their daughter's childhood and adult life. The writer has identified something that's not okay that might negatively affect his daughter. Please follow through your decision to leave the podcast. Just say, "I want to leave this podcast because you guys are homophobic and that's not okay." Then they'll tell you to go over it. Do you say no? And then they say you're being stupid. And then you say no. And then if they start calling you a pussy, then give them the finger and walk your ass out of there. Be better than them. Be stronger than them. Be the kind of person you want your daughter to grow up to be. Be the change you want to see in the world. Sincerely, a gay guy that is sick of being told to get over it for the last 30 years. So
he's right.
Yeah.
100%.
You know what? The thing is, I have this conversation. I have some relatives that are very conservative, right?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of frustrating. Everybody knows that I'm a little bit. If it's not obvious to you by now, I mean, like, you know, I'm not Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or anything, but like, you know, I tend to lean to the left more than to the right. And a lot of it, I remember a long time ago, one of the things that I came down to was that like, like the idea of censorship, right? Of self-censoring, like what you say around other people. And I remembered, I was like, so I wouldn't say fuckface to my grandma. I wouldn't be like, "Grandma, can you believe that fuckface over there? That stupid fucking piece of shit cut in front of us at the Kroger? Grandma, you hold me back, Grandma. Hold me back. I'm going to kick that jerk in the face," whatever. I'm trying to think of more words without actually running into the slurs that I would say. So as far as I'm concerned, it's like there's a difference to me between you can say whatever you want to say, but like my given name is Jeffrey, and when people call me Jeffrey, I say I would prefer to be called Jeff. And if they continue to call me Jeffrey, then mentally in my mental black book, I go, "Oh, you're a shithead. Like you won't." I mean, if it's a mistake, okay, fine, right? But like, you know, I prefer to be called Jeff. If you won't do that, if you just insist on calling me by a name that you know I don't like, then whether we're talking about the change you want to see in the world or anything like that, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if we every time we did the podcast, you used like a Polish slur, and I was like, "Hey, Michael, please don't."
If I was a literal Nazi, is what you're saying.
Please don't use that Polish slur on the podcast anymore. I'm tired of editing it out. And you were like, "No." Then I probably would just not invite you to be back on the podcast, right? Like,
I think the closest thing to a slur I use is I say vegans a lot, but that's like a Gundam reference, and that only makes sense if you watch Gundam Age.
Okay. I mean, over the years, like I remember in the a long time ago when we were doing it was like a game that came out that was called like Far From Home or Far Home or something like that, and it was about the Inuit people, right?
Oh, okay.
And I think Jason and I did a dojo for it, and we were calling them Eskimos, and somebody came in the comments and they were just like, you shouldn't say Eskimo. Eskimos not like, it's kind of offensive to people of that because there's several different ethnic groups that you're lumping all together when you say the word Eskimo.
Isn't that like Hal Jordan's friend's name or something?
Oh, it's like pie, like hot pie or something like
ridiculous.
That. Anyway,
something super offensive, by the way.
Yeah. So anyway, I was like, okay. So I looked it up, and I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, like, that seems like a change I can make in my vocabulary.
It wouldn't be that hard, yeah.
I mean, just why bother? So there you go. All right, let's do some Discord questions. Let's go from from Nazis and homophobic slurs to I don't know what's in here. Maybe it's all.
I feel like those are the same things, though. Last thing we just said.
Yeah. Jonathan Scratch says, "Dear wise and powerful Rage Masters, what do you guys do when you have a fucking shitty week? Like, man, life really decided to unleash a killer instinct combo on your genitals. Got movies you go to, games you play, some kind of blood ritual or salvia-drenched interpretive dance? I only ask because all in this last week I was shot down hard, though let down easy. Got a massive flat tire and had a roommate decide to eat my fucking Pringles. Plus side, those are all less shitty than the last, so maybe I'll stub my toe before the week is over, and that'll be my sign the universe is getting winded, hammering my balls like the speed bags boxers train with. Keep up the good work, and I'll always have you. Patreon back, boo. It's from Jonathan Scratch.
You just say slurs to as many people as you can. I'm just kidding. No, do not do that.
Find some of them Polacks on. No.
Just say Krypton slurs.
I'm going to tell you. I almost lost a friendship over roommate ate my food situation.
Oh, really?
I was the roommate that ate the food, and it was a tube of saltines, but it happened to be the last tube of saltines, and it happened to be on the day after we had gotten done drinking, so everybody was looking for something to eat to get the hangover, and we didn't speak for about 4 months after that.
It's just crazy to me.
I lived in the
saltines.
same house with somebody, and it was like, just go, here's $2, go buy some more saltines. It's like, yeah, but I wanted them. I didn't want to drive my hungover ass to the store, and I bought them, and they were my saltines. And it's like, they're just fucking saltine crackers.
It's so weird.
Your saltine crackers. Then the gay slurs started coming out. No, that didn't.
It was the craziest day.
But I can understand. Eat your fucking Pringles, man. Pringles that's not a sharing snack.
No, not really. Once they pop, you can't stop though. So I can't blame your roommate.
Well, but if he was the one who initiated the pop, then he knew the consequences of his actions.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. You got anything that you do when you having a bad day?
I used to watch Superman the movie a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because Superman the movie just makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like, there's just something wholesome as shit about that. Lately, I've been and for years, I used to just play whatever open world Spider-Man game I had at the time.
Okay.
I just swung.
Yeah.
I just web swinged through the city for like hours while listening to stuff.
PS4 Spider-Man was like the Amazing Spider-Man, or like the
it was
Web of Time,
Web of Shadows.
Web of Shadows.
Web of Shadows was very calming, but also kind of like depressing.
Yeah.
That area. Before that, it was Spider-Man 3.
Okay.
Before that was Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
So I used to just do that for like hours, just like because it was just relaxing. I was like, I can see why Spider-Man would just do this for the fuck of it. I also would read stuff here and there, read a comic every now and then.
Just get your mind off of it.
I also will eat pizza. Like, I just like pizza is my comfort food.
Yeah.
And I just love it, and I'm addicted to it, and so I can't stop.
You have indicated on a number of occasions when you're leaving my house that the next stop on your list is going to be some pizza related
of some kind. Yes,
thing.
Pizza's a real problem for me.
Yeah,
I tried to quit it cold turkey one time, and it did not go well.
I ate a Domino's pizza for the first time a couple weeks back. It was really good right up until the last slice went in my mouth, and then I was like, oh, that was the worst mistake of my life. and then the next day was the second worst mistake of my life. Yeah.
Was it the taco thing?
No. This is Domino's Pizza. Like,
okay.
It's got a Domino's, got a couple Domino's things delivered. I'd been eating peanut butter sandwiches and cabbage for like 2 weeks to save up for an Xbox One. And I was like, fuck, I need something that's not this. What's the cheapest pizza in the world? And it's like, oh, it's Domino's. And I was like, great, I'm going to eat half of this because I probably should eat a whole pizza. And I ate half of it. And then I was like, I'm going to eat the rest of this. Fuck you. And then I did, and it was bad.
Reminds me of Homer when he had that chili. He's like, I'm never going to have chili again. Ooh, chili.
Yeah. Jonathan Scratch, this is a dark answer. I drink all the time. I drink to forget, drink to relax, a drink to get out of things. Probably shouldn't be drinking this much.
No.
Probably should not be drinking.
We've had this discussion immensely.
Yep. Yeah, it's not great, but it is my thing. Also, unplugging from the internet is...
That actually is pretty helpful. I've tried quitting Facebook for like a week, and I did get a little calmer for a bit. Because there's a lot of horrible shit out there that will pop up on Facebook all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, there's never a day when there isn't something to be mad about. There's something to be mad about every day.
Or be sad about.
Or sad, yes.
Like I found out Cheddar from Brooklyn Nine-Nine died, and then I just ruined my whole day.
Who's that?
Is the dog, the corgi.
Oh, watch that show.
Yeah, Captain Holt's, the dog that played Captain Holt's dog died.
Oh.
And I was just super bummed out like the whole day.
Oh.
I was like, oh man, Cheddar.
Oh, I tell you what. You can go, Jonathan Scratch, to the Food Select channel. I put in this video. I found these videos last week, Michael. I'm gonna tell this to other people because they got to know. It's this YouTube channel called Maya Polar Bear, and it's this big fluffy dog that's doing ASMR, and it's basically just this big dog eating a variety of different foods right next to a microphone that's like cranked way the shit up. So and it's just this big fluffy white dog that just eats a variety of different foods like really loudly right next to a microphone, just like chomp, 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 chomp.
I swear ASMR is just gone batshit insane.
I just like that it's a dog eating stuff.
I think it's adorable. Yeah.
I don't care about the ASMR part. I just like that it's a dog that's eating food.
This is an ASMR I can get behind, is what I'm saying.
Yes. So you can always watch that. You can watch a dog eat. Like, I mean, the internet's got a lot of...
How adorable that fucking dog is.
He's such a big... Or she's a big, floofy white dog. And, yeah, there's one of them that I was watching that was just, like, her eating, like, into a cabbage. Like, just ripping the cabbage apart because it was all crunchy.
Is it just veggies that they feed the dog?
What's that?
Is it just veggies that they feed the dog, or is it just...
I think this one has a sausage at the very beginning. I think this one actually is the one that has a dog eating spaghetti. Yeah. It's just this one's
that's adorable.
ASMR dog reviewing different types of food, 5. And then the person who makes the videos puts these captions that are all in like Doge speak above and around.
I kind of really love this, actually.
And yeah, it's just
really nice.
It's just this dog eating food in front of a big microphone.
I also watched a lot of Dragon Ball, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Mostly the Frieza Goku fight, because the thing's like 5 hours long.
Okay. And just to answer a question, somebody on Food Select said, would you do that with your dog? I don't think my dog doesn't. First off, he doesn't like to be in. He's got that dog sense where if you point a camera at him, he just turns his head and like walks somewhere else.
My dog does that too, actually.
I don't think I could get him to sit. And also, he doesn't like. I've tried giving him vegetables before. Like there's one of the videos with that particular dog where she eats bananas. I started trying giving my dog bananas, and he's just like, nope. Yeah. Meat. I want meat.
My dog hates most things.
Or cheese.
If it's healthy, my dog's like, fuck you.
Also, Jonathan Scratch, I've been through a few weeks. I've had a few times where, like last week, my dog was sick, and then there was a day where my air conditioner got a little fucked up, and one of my tires was flat, and it's like, you do have to also remember that eventually all of this shit will be behind you.
Yeah.
Like, it sucks. And it sucks. Like
I've lost a job at least once every year I've lived out here so far.
Yeah.
So I know you're paid.
All right. Brad says, Dear Jeff Michael, I recently bought a PS2 after getting nostalgic for it. I mainly played GameCube during that gen and originally had a PS2 very late into its life cycle. I'm only now realizing just how big the PlayStation 2 library is and wanted to know what you think are some must-have games. I'm modding the PS2 to be able to play ROMs, so rarity shouldn't be a problem. Thanks, and that's from Brad. Yeah, I mean, like, actually,
There's so many fucking games on that thing.
A PlayStation 3 games, right? You know, Xbox 360 had it. There was a shitload. Like, I think Dreamcast, right, is the one where you're like, there weren't all that many games for the Dreamcast.
A lot of the Dreamcast games ended up coming out on other things.
Yeah.
Although it's the only way to play, like, I think, original Crazy Taxi. So
best PlayStation 2 games. I mean, there's so many games that were on the PS2 that have gotten re-released. Like, I was actually playing the...
play the Max Payne games.
Max Payne
Red Dead Revolver.
Yeah, Red Dead
Revolver.
Revolver.
Really good one. But those also, I think, got re-released.
I mean, like, Resident Evil 4, that's...
all the GTAs. Just all of the GTAs that are on there.
Yeah, because you actually get the good
good soundtracks as well. The soundtrack for Vice City was changed when it got re-released because of licensing stuff.
I would look for J-horror games, like the Fatal Frame.
There's so many of them on there.
Games,
yes, that's
or
something you
Clock
should do.
Tower, stuff like that. Those are things that you're not going to be able to get elsewhere. Like, they aren't localized.
There's also a lot of really good anime games on that thing.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them.
Like what?
Some of the last good Gundam, for some people, good Gundam games were on it. The last story-driven ones, at least.
Fuck! I typed best PS2 games into Google, and I got this sponsored link that's Motion Graver Hiroki Mori Sony PlayStation 2 2003. This is obviously just like a PlayStation 2 like cheesecake video, like
What
Japanese.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
There's a lot of
$50 on eBay. God damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. There's a lot of good Gundam games on there. There's a lot of fun Kamen Rider fighters. The Godzilla fighting games were also on there.
I mean, it's not golden, but you got Persona 4,
Persona 3 and 4.
Final Fantasy 10, Final Fantasy 12.
The Devil May Cry trilogy.
Yeah.
A lot of these got re-released.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of stuff that's only on the PlayStation 2.
Time Splitters.
Ooh. What's that game? PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy.
Oh, yes.
I love PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy.
Beautiful Joe 1 and 2 was also on there, but they were also GameCube games. If you never played them, I would play them.
Okay.
There was a lot of fun Need for Speed games on there. Beyond Good and Evil was on that, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
There's a lot of good Dragon Ball games, I think, and that was...
Oh, we played not Dark Cloud. What was the one that came after Dark Cloud? Rogue Galaxy? That was like level 5 game. And God Hand was a PS2 game.
Yes, God Hand. Yes,
as well,
100
right?
times for God Hand. God Hand is so fucking good.
There's also a lot of PlayStation 2 games that you can actually play on the PS4. Like, you can play God Hand on the PS4.
Can you really?
Uh-huh. Yep. Like, they don't have a lot of them, but there are like a bunch of PS2 games you can straight up, like, you can get Odin Sphere, and
I might do that later.
A few.
Because God Hand was one of my favorite PS2 games.
Yeah.
The game was amazing. The Gungrave games. Gungrave and Gungrave Overdose. I really think are a lot of fun.
Ooh, Burnout 3. Burnout
Yes.
3 Takedown. The best Burnout. Fight me. Fight me. I don't think anybody's going to fight me.
All the Jak and Daxter games, of course.
Jak 2. You start with Jak 2. Don't start with Jak 1. Jak 1 sucks. Jak
1's just okay compared to the rest. The Prince of Persia games were really fun on those.
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank series.
God of War. All the God of Wars, right?
Yes, all the God of Wars.
Did they ever put out... Can you play like God of War 1 and 2 on the...
Not on the PS4.
PS4? You could on the
PS3.
3? They made the HD collection?
For some reason, God of War 3 is on the PS4, but not 1 and 2. That's frustrating as hell.
Right. Because God of War 2 is the best one.
Yes, God of War 2 is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my god, God of War 2. If you ever a chance, play Spider-Man 2. It doesn't age as well as some people say it would, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot of these is just like, Snake Eater, but...
The Metal Gear games, yeah.
But that's hard. Like, if you have a modern console, I guess the question is, Brad, do you have any modern consoles? Because there's a lot of spillover with a lot of these. Like, Resident Evil 4 is on everything, right?
There's a lot of fun licensed games that are only on there. I really liked the Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, which I thought was a lot of fun.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with Batman Vengeance. It wasn't like super great, but it was the best thing at the time. There's a Superman game on there too that I thought was decent. Shadows of Apocalypse, I think is the name of it. It's like a lost episode of Superman the animated series, which I thought was pretty cool because it has the entire voice cast of that, which I thought was pretty fun.
There's a game that's on the tip of my Way of the Samurai, all the Way of the Samurai. So a lot of those are on Steam now, but those were really fascinating games that I feel like people don't really know as much about.
The Mortal Kombat games on there were fairly fine.
Yeah.
The Def Jam games are fucking weird. I'm just thinking of all the games I played when I was growing up. Like those are some of them.
I mean, I played Puzzle Fighter was PS1. I was going to say Puzzle Fighter, but
there's a lot of collections that were on there, but a lot of those came out on other stuff.
Yeah. Like
fighting game wise. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, if you can get a hold of it.
I'd definitely say if I was you, I'd look at the horror stuff first because that's like a real reason to have PS2. Oh, I tell you what.
There's so much of it on
I actually did it, but like if you want to spend some money, you can go online and buy a Guitar Hero, a copy of Guitar Hero and a Guitar Hero controller. I still maintain that the first Guitar Hero, like not Rock Band, but Guitar Hero, had the best soundtrack of any of those games, even if it was covers.
It was a hell of a time when that first came out.
Yeah.
I'm just looking through the library now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move on.
Fucking much of it on here.
I'm going to move on. We could just be listing stuff off for a long time. Let's see. Kate Josie writes and says, Dear Jeff and Michael, with Food Select now being a chat on the Discord, which everyone should become patrons to read and participate in, what is your least favorite type of food? For instance, my least favorite type are casseroles. I hate them. Not because they taste bad, but because it's all just a homogenous flavor. There doesn't seem to be any layers of flavor or depth or a change to the flavor profile whenever someone makes one for me. What do you think? Also, Rage Select is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. I think you're not having the right casseroles there, Kate Josie. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess it depends on what kind of casserole you're doing. Like, you get like a nice tuna noodle casserole, and it's like 2 ingredients, and it's tuna, noodles, and cheese. Like, it's not like there's a lot of different things to be had there. Also, you can always put some sour cream or like some creme fraiche or something on top of your thing. You know, I have a recipe for a tuna noodle casserole that seems amazing, but it requires too many ingredients. And the last time I tried to do something with too many ingredients, I fucked up Taco Bell.
Which is crazy to me.
Michael, what types of food can you not stand? Quit looking at PlayStation 2 games.
That's a tough question, to be honest, because I don't know. I think it's like really complicated ones where it's like you have to have a bunch of different things on it so it can be good.
Like a taco?
Well, not necessarily a taco, but like, you know, when somebody's like, well, this is only good if you have this, like just like a long random list of shit.
No, I don't actually know what are you talking about?
It's like when somebody makes like a piece of meat and then they're just like, well, it's only good if you get this sauce and then this sauce on it mixed it with this mashed potato or this thing and this thing, that it kind of tastes good. It's like, well, what the fuck is the point of that at that point?
You
made an assembly list of things.
Who is doing this to you? This is not food. That's wrong, dude.
That's what I mean. It's like fancy. It's like fancier people tend to be like, this only like has to be this specific, like just something batshit insane sounding.
Okay,
I think is really what it comes down to.
Okay,
is where I have issues with. Also, I think the other thing is just fancier foods, I guess is a way of putting it.
Fancy feasts.
Yeah, like, you know how like people like you'll watch like a movie where they're like, this is the creme de la whatever the fuck, and it's like this big, or like people can't see me, but it's like a quarter kind of thing,
right?
And like just on a plate and it's covered in like a tiny sauce, and like they made fun of it in Good Omens, where they're just like I've never seen so many people so hungry. But it's like $100,000 or some shit for like gold flaked ice cream kind of things. Yeah, any of that shit, like what the Try Guys do, like, oh, here's a pizza that has gold flakes and truffle oil on it. It's like, fuck you. Yeah, this is our $1,000 pizza, and it's just like, well, don't do that. Like don't, just please. There's things you could also. Gold doesn't make things taste better. No. So just don't do that, you know. It makes no sense to me. You know what makes things taste better? Fat. Fat makes things taste better. Is it gold fat? Let's go from there. What are those? Is there a name for when it's like a Jell-O mold that has meat inside of it? Oh, I used to know this actually because I was so curious about why somebody would do such a thing. Yeah. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's in television all the time. Yep. Like, it was always the joke on cartoons and stuff where like I brought a Jello with like some random fucking thing in the middle of it.
Yep.
I forgot they gave it a specific name.
We used to get we were real interested in putting stuff inside of Jello. You know what? You know,
I'm looking
Michael?
it up now.
Jello, I'll even say Jello that's got like peeled grapes in it, or like Jello that has like little cut up like peaches in it. Nah, man, I don't want anything in my Jello. I don't want anything in my Jello outside of Jello, and least of all, not meat. And that is also why Vienna sausages are kind of like, no, not really. It's a little meaty. I'm not a big fan of gross food. Apparently, Kate Josie, like
gross food. Yeah,
I like most food. Like I'll try just about anything. But
I'm a really picky eater, so it's really tough for me to really say that I hate food.
Yeah,
it's just mostly I just don't want that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. We had this exact kind of conversation last week with John. And I was just like, John, take it away. I like everything. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's some stuff that I'm not a big fan of.
Sometimes it's texture.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain foods that, like, the texture of it just feels gross to me.
Like what?
Like
Jello with hot dogs in it?
Yeah, basically. But every time I think of that Jello, I think of that episode of The Simpsons. It was really early on where they go to Mr. Burns, and he shows up with the Jello, and he's like, why does everybody bring this Jello thing?
You know what I want now? I kind of want macaroni with hot dogs cut up in it.
That is something a lot of people make, actually.
I don't know why, but I just kind of want that. Or maybe like, I think I might. Oh, I don't have any ants. I was gonna make ants on a log. You know what that is?
No.
You take like celery and you put peanut butter in it and you put raisins on it.
I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah,
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, I just apparently I want some like 8-year-old.
You do. You want to make
some animal crackers and some juice. All right, let's knock a couple more of these out and then we'll be done. Let's see. I'm going to come back to the Discord next week. So we left off at Mad Miss Moxie. We got dooba. Oh, good. Here's another question that'll get us in trouble.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Mr. K writes in and says, salutations, Jeff and Michael. I've been a listener of the podcast. Remember your loading bar days. My question has to do with the issue of representation in video games.
Oh, God.
I am done with the generic white guy protagonist in media, really. Do you have an archetype that once you see present in your video game makes you just check out immediately? Thanks for the laughs. That's from Mr. K. I mean, generic white guy is kind of boring.
Yeah, he's gotten really boring pretty quickly, especially if he's going to be the savior or something.
Yeah,
usually
it does. I'm not saying that I want every game that no game should ever have a white guy in it ever again. It's just like there's that one white guy. There's that Nathan Drake, but he's like a commando and he's a very serious guy, and he just shows up in a lot of games, and I'm like, oh God, it's you again. It's you. Ugh.
Actually, you want to know what's funny? As I've gotten older, but the actual archetype I'm not a fan of anymore are teenagers.
Oh, you
like,
gotta tell me.
Like JRPGs are a lot harder for me to want to play because it's like you're just a plucky teenager in high school. I'm like, I don't want to do this again.
Nope.
Like it's really like when Persona 5 came out. I'm like, I really like this game, but I really am weirded out by the fact that like I have a lot of my choices and love interests are teenagers, and that's just not what I want right now.
No, I can see that. Like,
I don't check out immediately, but I have a hard time really getting into them now.
Yeah.
Because it just gets creepier as time goes on.
As I've been on record a lot of times about, like, there's that thing in... Stefan. There's that thing in video games where it's like they want to do, or even in fiction where they want to just be like, oh, he's a murderer, but look how fucked up he is on the inside. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Did you fuck off? You're bad guy. The guy killed my wife, but what about his pain? And I'm like, I don't care about his pain. Shoot him in the face. Throw him in a ditch. Light him on fire. I don't give a shit. Stop trying to make me feel bad for this is Far Cry 5, right?
Yeah, Far Cry 5.
Oh, you're the monster. No, I'm not. Like that's not even like a moral quandary. It's just like, but are you? Who's the real monster? It's you.
That's totally you.
But what about all the people you killed? They were shooting at me. You tried to make me into a zombie slave. You've enslaved people. You're the bad guy.
Like you literally are the worst kind of person.
But the Lord, I don't care. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy.
Like you're 100% the bad guy in this situation. I don't know why you keep thinking you're not.
Yeah. But what about? Nope. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy.
So much for the tolerant left, as they said.
Woo, we're getting spicy on this one. I'm gonna get a lot of downvotes.
People are gonna hate me so much.
RIDH says, "Hey Jeff and Michael, longtime listener since today's loading bar, but first time emailing in. 2 questions: who would you put on your game developer Mount Rushmore, both good and bad?" When you were talking about food a few podcasts ago, it got me thinking, has there ever been a food/drink whose recipe has changed that has driven you away from it? So what happened here in Scotland with the beautiful rust-colored drink Urn Brew, which has led to the development of a black market for the stuff. Hope this question's help. Thanks, Ray Johns from Rurid. I don't know how to say your name, dude.
The Ruridger.
RUARIDH.
What was it again?
RUARIDH.
Rurden?
Rurder. Sorry.
The Ruridger.
The Ruridger. All right, who's on your Mount Rushmore of video game developers? Miyamoto.
Well, Miyamoto, Kojima. That's really the first 2 that came to my mind. Iwata.
Okay.
Because Iwata did a lot. That's 3, so I just need one
Carmack?
more. Perhaps.
Maybe Carmack? 3 Japanese men and a white nerd.
Yeah. That's the thing, is it's like it's hard to remember really who's like the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the thing. Some of my favorite games, I don't think I've ever known who the developers were for them.
Yeah. That's true. It's true.
Like those 3 I think of purely because like they put themselves in the spotlight as much as they could.
And Suda 51.
Suda 51, yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's like fucking let's just have those 4. Well, if I had a terrible fucking Mount Rushmore, there's a lot of people you'd put on that one.
Sure.
Like the first person being Randy Pitchford.
Yep.
Off the top of my head.
Or they have to be developers. Can I put Robot Wilson or Bobby Kotick and
there's a lot of people you could put on there.
Guimau. No, well, not Eves. I was thinking of who's the 2K guy? Strauss Zelnick.
Yeah, that with the fucking crazy name.
Yeah, Jack Thompson.
Throw
him up
what
there.
What a crazy person that guy was.
Yep.
Had nothing to do with developing them, but he was crazy as shit.
Yep. Good old Jack Thompson.
I guess you could put Gabe Newell on a good one.
Gabe Newell has kind of
half and half.
Yeah,
is the thing. He could be on both of them very easily.
Put like a quarter of Gabe Newell, just top
That's
half of his face.
That's a big chunk either way, though, because that baby was massive.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot.
There's some pretty cool dudes out there. I can't think of them all off the top of my head.
No.
I think Ed Boon could be on either one of them. Because that dude is a crazy person.
You'd say Miyazaki, but I don't know. He's still new. Like, I'm looking for people that have like a decade or more of like experience under them. I know that Miyazaki has more than a decade. It's just that.
What's the dude from Double Fine?
Tim Schafer.
I think you could put Tim Schafer on one of those. He's done enough beloved things, I think.
What about Warren Spector?
I would put him on there just because I always liked his name.
Yeah. What about John Romero?
He could go on either one. Is another one of those. John Romero could go on either one.
Or
who's gonna make you his bitch?
Who's the crazy guy that made God of War? David Jaffe.
Yeah, David Jaffe.
Just put him between. It's like maybe just make it a big spectrum of heads on mountains, and it's like
you just go from good to bad.
You got Miyamoto on one side,
and then just John Romero,
Bobby Kotick on the other side, kind of right in the middle. You got a John Romero.
Just it's just this whole thing. It's like the monument for the Alamo, except just like good to bad because it's a massive fucking monument.
Have there? Oh my god, I'm so tired. Has there been a food that changed that you were like, nah, fuck it now? It used to be good, but you go fuck yourself now.
Pizza Hut got really bad all of a sudden. I have no fucking idea why.
When?
I don't know the exact pinpoint, but I just remember one day I was eating Pizza Hut and I was just like, this is garbage now.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out what it is, but this is just pure fucking garbage. Same with KFC.
What's your go-to pizza then? You eat pizza all the time. What's your go-to pizza?
Lately it's been Marco's. Marco's Pizza. It's a place that's here. Like, I don't know if it's local per se, but There's one right next to my apartment. They're really good.
Well, that's no good. You can just order pickup, right, and go walk over there.
Yeah, I literally could just walk over there. But I get some exercise in it. But yeah, Marco's is really good. Domino's is one of my favorites still. Although I have to ask for no garlic crust because I'm not a fan of garlic, personally.
God damn it, I want pizza now.
I really like Mr.
really
Gaddy's though, but a lot of people apparently don't like Mr. Gaddy's. Which
I really like Mr. Gaddy's. Like if you just want like a pepperoni pizza.
Yeah.
Also, I like the ranch that they got there, the little cup.
Yeah. I really like Mr. Gaddy's.
Put ranch on your pizza? Dip your pizza in ranch?
I like Papa John's for a while until they started throwing slurs at people, so that was fun.
Is that an answer to my ranch question?
Maybe.
Do you put ranch on your pizza?
No, I do not.
No?
My dad puts A1 steak sauce on pizza, though.
What?
I discovered that when we were in Corpus Christi, and that was a fun time.
Oh.
That caught me the fuck off guard the first time we did that. There also used to be this local place nearby in San Marcos, but Gumby's. They're pretty good.
I'm trying to think of anywhere that's changed the recipe for a thing.
Cadbury eggs.
Oh, yeah?
They changed, and then they just got awful. That was the thing for a while.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I'm sorry, I glossed over this. You mentioned KFC. What do you think about the Cheeto sandwich?
I think it's a dumb idea. My roommate had it, and he says it wasn't all that interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he actually went out of his way to go to a KFC to try this thing out.
Yeah.
And he says you can barely taste the Cheeto.
Well, that's just no good.
Is what he told me.
So it's fried is the breading Cheeto, or is it just Cheetos?
I think it's Cheetos on top of or under the chicken.
There's
or
like
something.
a chicken.
I think.
Why would they put the Cheetos under the chicken? It's just going to grease up all the Cheetos and they're going to melt, right? You got to put the Cheetos on top of the chicken.
I don't know how that works.
They got like a Cheeto sauce on it. One time when I was drunk, I took a bunch of Cheetos and I ground them up and I thought I could make Cheeto salt, but the Cheetos have like oil in them, so you have to dry them out first. Chester Cheetah is the kernel. All right, let's see if we can break down. Oh my God, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen with this Mountain Dew Sweet Lightning. We're watching a commercial for this right now.
Gross looking. It looks like piss.
It looks like urine. Sweet Lightning. That's what I say when I go to the bathroom. I'm like,
it's Mama June's tea or whatever the fuck.
Oh yeah, Granny's
that happens.
peach
Batman
tea.
v Superman.
So okay, we got a chicken, like breast of piece of chicken, breaded, fried, and then is this like hot sauce or cheese sauce? And then they're putting it on top of the Cheetos. Then it's just like what, mayonnaise underneath the Cheetos? Come on, guys, tell me more.
I have another one. Chicken nuggets from Burger King.
Oh yeah,
they used to be the fucking bomb.
Okay, smothered. Okay, crispy kernel chicken sandwich smothered in Cheetos sauce and a layer of crunchy Cheetos. Seriously, only the finger-licking cheesiest of Cheetos could rival our finger-licking good chicken, so KFC and Cheetos join forces to create this deliciously crispy, cheesy, crunchy sandwich, but it's only available for a limited time. Oh, God, nutrition calculator, yes, do it. Do it now. Do it now. Where is this? Limited time offer, Cheetos, popcorn nuggets, Cheetos sandwich. One Cheetos sandwich, you get 560 calories.
It's not the worst thing I expected.
51% of your daily total saturated fat or regular fat. But okay, so wait, hold on. We got to camp out on this for a second, and I might actually have to go eat one of these now that I've talked about it for 20 minutes. Why wouldn't you make it like, okay, the brilliance of the Doritos Locos Taco is that the shell that would normally be a regular shell is now Doritos. Yeah. Right? So like, okay, Doritos is like a corn chip, right? Is to make a corn shell, right? Okay, yeah. So Cheetos is like a crunchy, kind of cheesy, salty thing. Why wouldn't you bread the chicken breast in like a Cheeto mixture? Like mix your breading and Cheetos together and then fry it so that it's just kind of like a chicken sandwich, but then it's got all that Cheeto-y flavor in instead of putting Cheetos on a chicken sandwich. Like, this is lazy. This is some lazy shit right here.
That's not great. And my roommate said it's not great because he had it not too long ago.
What Airheads shake or whatever at Taco Bell, and then there's like so Doritos Locos. That's been the best one, right?
The best like mixture of things.
What else would you do if you had to come up with some of the stuff? Funyuns corn dog from Wiener Schnitzel, where it's the breading has like Funyuns in it, Or like,
well, the best thing, I always think the best thing is when Oreo like jams itself in a lot of stuff.
Oh God,
like
I hate Oreos.
The Oreo, like when Oreo like is mixed with ice creams and stuff, I think is always the best things. Although the Oreo pizza was a terrible idea.
See, Fritos don't really work because you just like put those on a sandwich, right?
Yeah, people do that all the time.
Take a sandwich, put some Fritos on it.
Yeah.
So you got Fritos, Cheetos, Doritos. What other good chips are out there?
Pringles.
Pringles, gross.
Pringles just fuse everything with itself, though.
Gross. Yeah, Pringles are like the thing. It just
absorb things. Yeah. Pizza Pringles,
pork rinds,
barbecue Pringles,
tortilla chips,
jerky.
Jerky's not a chip.
No, I was talking about how Pringles is just fused in everything.
Oh, I was still trying to come up with
still listing them.
A new chip. What's another iconic chip? You just got like potato chips, right?
Like Ruffles?
Yeah. So you got Doritos, Cheetos,
Fritos,
Ruffles, Lay's, Pringles.
There's
pretzels.
another one that I know I'm missing.
What?
That's really like popular. I can't remember what it is.
Popular
sour cream and onion ones?
Chips. So what fast food would you add sour cream and onions to?
Sonic.
All right, here's one. Yeah, there's a lot of more. Munchies. Sun Chips.
Yeah, Sun Chips was the one I was thinking of.
Grandma's Cookies. Come on, get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. But I mean, like, think if you could get the KFC, and it's just like a crispy chicken sandwich, but then it had all that Cheeto-y taste in it. Like, that would taste good, right?
Maybe.
Like, it's just cheesy. It's just cheesy salt is all. And
that's really what it is.
Then 6 months from now, they can bring out the Flamin' Hot version, right?
Yeah.
The Flamin' Hot Cheeto sandwich. Instead of just lazily dumping a bag of Cheetos on your sandwich, you idiots. We figured that shit out when we were in 4th grade, idiot KFC. Damn it. All right, I'm done. I think we're done here. I think that's about our show for the day. We have a few questions left. We're going to save them for next time. Sorry, I shouldn't have started talking about the fucking Cheetos.
That escalated quickly.
It just makes me mad, man.
Well, seriously, KFC's not great anymore.
KFC hasn't been trying, right? Like they've been trying to get by on like weird gimmicks, like it's a $5 fill 'em up box, and it's like
they've been trying to get by on weird commercial gimmicks, like the different kernels.
Yeah,
like the RoboCop kernel, that was fucking weird.
I remember that. I checked out.
That was not that long ago.
Reba McEntire kernel.
I think that was the one just before the RoboCop one.
Okay.
I think they got Peter Weller to dub that RoboCop one too, which made it even weirder.
That's very strange.
It's fucking strange. If you ever find these, they're so weird.
Yeah, because I'll still go to Popeyes. Popeyes is cheap, and they got like red beans and rice and biscuits and shit.
I go to Golden Chick. I like Golden Chick a lot.
That's like the worst one.
Really? No, Golden Chick's the best. Their rolls are the best. It's mostly the rolls, to be honest.
Oh man, Popeye! I'm a Popeye stan over here. I gotta get the red beans and rice.
See, I think KFC's the worst, to be honest.
Plus, Popeyes always has.
Actually, no, that's not true. Churches.
Churches is probably the worst.
It's probably the worst, I think.
Like if you get your Churches like the week it opens, it's okay.
Yeah.
But like anytime after that,
they don't care at all after that.
No good. I like Popeyes because Popeyes has like a $3 daily deal, and I'm just like, which is like, it's 2 chicken strips and 1 side.
Also, there's one off of Palmer here.
Biscuit and a small drink, and I'm just like, all right, give me 2 of those. Give me two of the $3 meals.
I don't remember the last time I've been to Popeyes, to be honest.
I think the closest one is down in Lamar.
Isn't there one? Yeah, I have to try it one of these times.
They also open late.
Are they really?
I think so.
I have to look into that.
Anyway, yeah, don't go to KFC. Don't support their dumb Cheeto. Yeah. Cheetos deserve better than that. More effort, maximum effort, KFC. MailRageSite.com is the email address to send your questions into. You can send them in and we will answer your questions. Michael, when you are not here answering the questions on Rage Site, where can people find you?
You can find me on oneofus.net. We'll have some RTX stuff up on the site by then.
Okay, cool. With that, we're going to go ahead and say bye. And I got to decide whether I'm going to go to KFC or Domino's. But either way, my butt is not going to be happy. So just that's what happens. Bye, I guess. Bye-bye. Bye.